ball. Gotta go ball. To go ball.
And this is the moment that North secured their legend spot. That's what it means to be going to the Fox Theatre. Lots of emotion. And you can tell the G Fuel is kicking in here at the G Fuel E-League Arena. Incredible scenes, an incredible game. It's got to be said, we were going to have to go some and beat that SK game in Australis one. I think we did it. Yeah. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, that was nuts. I mean, that showed everything. That showed why the experience, the veterans in Godsend are just so hard to beat. All the different things they're able to do. JW with some sick performances down the stretch. Flusha with some amazing clutches, as we know. And I mean, it's just looking more and more like maybe those first two losses from North are just getting used to this kind of a high-pressure situation, because this was what we were looking for out of Magisk, out of Config. It seems so long ago. At the beginning of the second half, Magic gets hit in the head with a bullet right at the start, down to like 9 HP. Still manages to get 3 incredible headshots out of that. Yeah. Fourth round come down, he's brought down to like 5 HP, and with the UMP, he gets 3 more kills, like instantaneous headshots. That's the kind of stuff you need out of your star player. It's incredible that he's able to do that with such low HP. You have no mistakes to give up in those scenarios.
So then, Duncan, it went right down to the wire. You were saying you felt if North did make it to the playoffs, they would do better in a best of 3 simply based on their map pool. Sure. But what did you think here of how they coped with the pressure, individual levels of skill?
I mean, this is another one of those scenarios, like the FaZe versus Gambit game, where the one problem for the North guys is when they're under pressure, some of them break a little bit, or they can't always close the game out. Whereas one of the things that Godsend have had going for them, especially with Flusha, as you see here, is the ability to win clutch rounds and to be really good under pressure. For me, this whole game, North could have won it at a canter if it wasn't for JW and Flusha. They had miracle play after miracle play, so many amazing plays. I mean, there was a round where JW had those like 3 or 4 AWP kills that was absolutely ridiculous. To even have sort of the goal to try and pull that off, such a late game point in the game is absolutely amazing. So I thought it was a very good game, but you saw kind of the flaws of both teams here. I still think North have some issues late in games. Some of them choke up a bit. MSL was particularly poor in this game.
Well, I was going to say, when it went to overtime, Duncan, we were thinking we should just have an aim duel between Pronax and MSM, or MSL or 1v1.
I would have died, mate.
Yeah, exactly. It would have been it'll next.
It looked like the old Immortal bug.
But I got to say, though, I mean, just to that point, in-game leaders not fragging to that degree.
That's too extreme. That's the problem there.
Yeah.
Especially, like, Pronax also was really terrible. He couldn't get anything going.
Go ahead. I mean, Pronax is also known as, I mean, he's not known as a fragging game leader, but he has always been able to have impact in matches. He used to even still be able to win clutches as an in-game leader.
He had an impact there. It was for North. It was poor play. I got to say, there's one play that did stand out, though.
That was insane. Right. Why are you doing this? Why is this happening?
I think we can all confirm that Config has gone through puberty, because he's got a set on him. I cannot believe what I saw. It's a must-win round. It's a major. You've got 1 HP.
If I'm North, whether it's the coach, whether it's MSL, I'm pulling him aside afterwards and I'm saying, I don't care what, if that is successful, you never ever do that again.
$1,500, mate.
You can see.
No.
$1,500.
It is not worth the risk. It is not.
You can see the reaction afterwards from his teammates. Like, why are you doing this, man?
He also doesn't understand. He not only got $1,500, he took his soul.
Absolutely did.
You're never going to hear from Schneider again. It's over. So.
Well, rest in peace, Schneider. It was good while it lasted. And here you go. Just look at this. Look at him. What a cheeky chappy. Yeah, anyone going to high-five me? Look at his face over there.
Like, just hell
like,
no.
What are you doing? Like it's not stressful enough.
I would have liked to see those reactions if Schneider just turns around and pops him. And then all of a sudden, then you're when you're config, you're not smiling when you're looking around afterwards.
No, I'm telling you, that's like Anders level demented. That isn't it? Just so it's like, no, not the time or the place, mate. Anyway, let's have a look at the schedule. Some great games still left. Just still recovering from that one. And then it turns out Envyus versus FaZe Clan, the return of the problem. Can't wait for that. That's going to come up next. And then to close us out, Team Liquid versus Australis. Here are the standings. Confirmation, if anyone needed, that North are going to go through. You can see Na'Vi or Virtus Pro, SK Gaming, Fnatic, Gambit. They all did it a little bit earlier, and that does confirm that. Unfortunately for Godsend, They are out. They are going to be going home. Anyway, we are going to take a short commercial break, try and compose ourselves, try and recover. But great Counter-Strike isn't over yet because FaZe and Team Envyus are going to go head-to-head after these commercials. Make sure you come back.
Do you play Counter-Strike? Do you want to play with the pros? Do you want to play against this guy?
Going in for his team.
Or this guy? Perhaps even this guy. Okay, maybe not him. Sign up now to FaZe.com and take your game to the next level. Play against the pros only at FaZe.com.
My name is Forrest. I'm Get Right. Freiberg. You want to beat an old timer like me? Come try us at FaZe.com.
The home of all the good stuff.
Right then, so we are ready. It's FaZe versus Envyus. Let's start talking about FaZe Clan, Moses.
Yeah, I mean, these guys now, there's a couple matches in this event where they've really given up some leads and dropped the ball in some games where you think they're about to take the win. But the big story for this match is going to be the return of Kiyoshima, a player who's been in the French lineups in the past, notably won a major with them with LDLC. I mean, he's a player that really needs to... I mean, he's kind of in this team as the role player for Kerrigan. He's kind of the tool that Kerrigan wants to use, people to put this in dirty positions and then be like, this is not a role for a star player, but this is a very important things that need to get done on these executions. So he's coming back now to see Envy traded him out a while back, and now, I mean, it's his turn to try and get revenge. He's got a good team behind him. He's got Rain, he's got AZ, he's got a lot of talent, a lot of firepower, and he just needs to do his job and set those guys up to take away the rest of the match.
Yeah, and I think that's the key thing here. Obviously, having been in Envyus, removed, deemed to be the problem as the meme goes, then he had it happen again in FaZe Clan. And it's Kerrigan who's brought him back. I am telling you, he is going to be absolutely pumped for this game. So let's talk about Envyus. Let's talk about Kiyoshima's old stomping ground, Duncan.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is, even though he clearly was a problem, he had his own issues as a player, it's not like removing him fixed Envyus' problem. I mean, funnily enough, they've become like an NIP where they've got that rotating fifth spot where it's just the cursed, you know, the cursed crucible. Like, if you go to that spot, you're never going to have star roles. You just kind of surplus the requirements. And so it is still very much all about the other foursome. And we saw earlier on, it's not even the case that one player can carry them anymore. I mean, Kennis is pretty good. Apex had a monster game earlier against Fnatic. They really need a team effort here. And I think this is one of the areas where FaZe can pose them some danger because FaZe has the lineup to go man for man with Envyus at the moment. You know, these Envyus guys, you can't look at NBK, you can't look at Happy and think of them 2 years ago when they used to play with Kirishima. That's not a reasonable kind of level of expectation for where they're going to be at. So this, for me, is the closest of all the matchups of these three. This is the one that really the map could decide it, one big star performance could decide, the in-game leaders could decide it. I think this one's the one where you should be very nervous if you're on either team.
Well, I think what also might decide it, Duncan, is the map.
Sure, and that's one of the interesting things is because if you're the guys from Envyus, I mean, we always know you ban out Mirage anyway. This is a map that you don't really want to play against FaZe Clan. I mean, we haven't had to see them play it much because so many people do ban it. Banning Cobblestone's an obvious one at this point in time. It's never been the Carrigan map anyway. Not that Envyus has been lights out on it, but they're always dangerous. Cash is one that both teams are going to share, so I want to see where that goes. And Nuke is the interesting one because actually both teams have showed a willingness to play Nuke at certain points in time. So it looks to me like FaZe might just go ahead and leave it into the randometer.
I think that would be very
Because
interesting.
Train's the one that Envyus doesn't want. So they take a map and see Nuke's in there. So let's see if it's going to be that, because that's going to be pretty nerve-wracking if that's for your whole major qualification. Yep, it's going to be Nuke. So I don't know that anyone wants to play this map right now. I mean, these two teams, listen, they can both play it. They both understand the meta of it. The players have got routine on it. But it's just a map where I don't know any team that feels confident on this map. Like we know we've got the win here.
Yeah, I was going to say, so Jason, your reaction to Nuke being here, I mean, both of these teams obviously willing to play it, but you could see FaZe, they left it in there against Team Liquid. They were feeling confident, and they almost lost that game, so.
Yeah, but they've at least been tested on it, so they know. I mean, obviously, you can't really compare Liquid and Envy in terms of what they're going to do strategically, but they're going to know like some of their own weaknesses and some things they can adjust. So at least they've been tested on it. They've gotten used to it a little bit in this tournament. I think the big thing is going to be interesting is we saw against Liquid, Carrigan playing a little bit of a lurking role towards the towards door. Happy's going to have that same ability to lurk multiple places.
So we're ready for predictions, guys. Jason, I'll stay with you.
I'm going to take FaZe in this matchup.
Duncan, what are your thoughts?
See, I was actually going to take Envyus, but that's the one map that I have so many questions about. Like, I just can't be confident in them, so I'm going to have to go with FaZe for this one. I think they're just better on this map.
All right, well, thanks very much. And we're now going to throw you back over to our commentators. It's Sadakist and Skinhead G.
That's perfect.
Appropriate.
Very appropriate.
Yeah.
It's perfect. That said, I agree with the map choice. We were a little bit curious about it as well. Envy going to Nuke. Now, the one thing I can say, we just saw them standing right behind us. They are sitting quite close to us. I just heard them going over quite an in-depth game plan with their new coach. So
When I asked them
maybe
about-
they've got something.
I asked them about the map. I said, well, what's it going to be? And they started celebrating when they went to Nuke. They said, that's such a risk, but it paid off. That's their words. So we haven't seen them play Nuke this tournament, but they certainly can play it. And I think they've got some tricks for us in store. So we'll see what happens here. FaZe Clan have played Liquid us already. They beat them in overtime. So yes, like Thorin said, both of these teams happy to play the map. And we'll see what happens as we get into this one. FaZe starting on the T side here. And we'll see what kind of buy comes in. A lot of teams have been running this. Liquid have been doing this as well. The double Superman setup when you have 2 tech lines and 2 sets of body armor. That's going to be AZ and Kirishima. That suggests almost certainly an upper rush at this point. You run through Squeaky Door. You try to mow down any CTs waiting on the other side.
Very fast. But HXC can storm by the bomb tower, which means bomb's down by the main entrance. And that's guarded by both Kenny and Apex. And they'll both go down, thankfully. So now they've got a chance to wrap this back around. Could also grab that bomb and go straight down the vents. That's probably the better play, having just spotted the last remaining player, MBK, toward heaven. So that's what they'll do.
Yep. That's a really good call to make. They know 6 that was towards heaven, so he's got no kit at the moment. So he's actually going to knowing, oh, there's the kit pickup, so a chance in this one now, but he's got so much work to do. This is notoriously one of the hardest sites to retake in the game, especially when you're by yourself with just a pistol as well.
And he's going
much
against
time.
Superman with AZ on the Tech 9. Sorry?
He's got 3 kills already as well.
I know, he's killing it right now. Killing the game. Sixer's going to try and do the same. Tap out the bomb, knows they've got to be inside. That door goes to open it. It opens toward him. That's a dead giveaway. Someone's there, and it is AZ on the Tech 9 who will pick up his 4th kill in the round.
Just to break that one down, the idea behind that strategy, a lot of teams are doing this right now. Who's got the 2 best spawns there in T-spawn? You're throwing Tech 9s towards and they're buying up armor, and everyone's going out towards the Squeaky Door there at that point. You're trying to get there before the CTs can, and you're actually trying to shut it down. The CTs, unless they hit the perfect headshots, have a really rough time with so many targets on their screen. AZ, 4 kills in total. Not much 6 could do there towards the end. He gets the door open, but greeted by AZ, takes his head off, and winning the T-pistol, that's actually a massive deal. This is notoriously a very CT-sided map. This is a full force buy from Envyus, and when I say full force buy, Kenny S has got armor as well, so the orbs to be quite problematic for him to pick up in that first match. Oh, don't worry about it though. He's got a pocket orb. It's the Desert Eagle. It takes up AZ's head.
And he sits back to watch toward Twinkie as well. He's got vision on outer. NBK is going to add the next one in. I know it's new. which has changed. It's Nuke, the new Nuke. So we don't often talk about the T side needing the pistol and being converted, but trust me, for these two teams that we don't know as much about on this map, that's going to be big. So if Envy can capitalize on this situation right now with 2 kills and an SMG picked up, especially when we're questioning their heroics on the map, it's going to be best case scenario. Nade goes through the vents, that'll do big damage. It's going to take Apex down to 50, but MBK on that SMG, he's picked up another kill to drop the bomb. He's in the new Toxic as well. Double doors, remember. It's no longer a window. You could shoot holes through the doors. I can't quite see what he's done. In fact, he's just left them wide open. That's going to leave an opportunity open for Alu, which will take him back. And Rain, he finds Happy. HP, it still favors Envy by a man, but it's so low. 14 and 12 for Sixer and Apex, respectively. And Alu, though, the problem is has to get this bomb and go for a plant. And where's the safest way to do so? As soon as he opens these doors, they know he's going back toward control. And I think he's going to try and bail away from this. Rain's done well to find Sixer. He's going to be greeted inside of the vents, though. Kenny puts him down with Deagle. And Alu's actually wrapped around behind, and Kenny's ready for it. You said hand cannon. He gets a lovely 2 kills as opposed to the first to close the round.
How sick must this shot have been? Flash as well. He comes out, 1 bullet, takes off AZ's head as well. And they do such a good job of reacting to that point. We didn't see the second kill with the CZ, but they get it down to a 5-on-3. There is some recovery from FaZe Clan, but MBK, he denied the bomb. That was the key play. I guess you can say that as well. Lovely shot to finish things off. But the MBK lurking towards that toxic room. Like you said, it was interesting he didn't shut himself in there. I thought he closed the door, the bomb's down the site, just delay them as long as possible. He left the doors open and he went down. Gave them a window of opportunity there. There comes the force buy in return. AZ, 4 kills in the pistol, got more money than his teammates. He's going to have the AK, some Tech 9s around him with some flashbangs as well. It's up to AZ now to open the map up. And maybe he can get a couple more headshots here, just like Kenny S did before.
AZ toward red crate.
There
That matches the exact tap that Kenny got last time. He puts him down with the AK. He does take a slight bit of damage, to be fair, from Kenny, and he gets tagged up to 25. Rain's gone down to Apex, but it's still going to be the terrorists taking over map control, getting toward Outer. Things I know that we expect to see from that game plan that I did here to start things off is Envy trying to take Outer control when they get on the terrorist side, but FaZe, big response to take back the second round and get the momentum back in their hands.
What a roller coaster this is for Envyus so far. After recovering with those Deagle headshots, they get the same treatment. Kenny S gets a taste of his own medicine outside. And yeah, AZ with that AK-47, stepping up tremendously. They managed to go towards the upper side, take it down. And now I'm thinking it is a French team after all. They're probably forced by. They never give in, they never relent. So it's going to be Apex so far. He purchases the M4A4, some 5.7s. This is pretty much a full investment here. Kenny S, he keeps himself with $1,500. So he knows going forward he needs to get an AWP eventually. So 4A4. Up to Apex now to see what he can do here. We have got 2 AKs available for FaZe Clan, along with Kiyoshima's Famous as well.
Kerrigan's going to go back from Outer to the lobby, join in with the rest of his teammates. Good start from Rain, takes down Sixer. MBK gets forced into the corner. CZ finding 1. He's there to get him back after, and so far Kenny can't do anything. Catching them off from Turnpike. They've already gotten below him. They've already gotten into position to catch off Apex, and Kenny will fall immediately after, so that M4 doesn't do much, and FaZe pick up their 3rd.
Well, that was the force buy. They have broken the serve of Envyus. They almost certainly have to eco at this point, so FaZe Clan doing a tremendous job there. 3-1 there on the terrorist side. Remember, if you're just joining us, maybe you're an Envyus or a FaZe Clan fan, whoever wins this game, they're going through to the playoffs, the final 8. Whoever loses is going home, and that's quite a feat for someone like a team like Envyus, former major champions, to not make the playoffs. It's been a real rough year for them, but
they've had to qualify twice. Not only that, if they were to make the playoffs, they would have had the longest road of anyone there because they went 0-2 to start off the qualifier as well. And then here, they've already lost 2, hence why we're in this position. It goes without saying. But the point is they would have had to play the most amount of games of any team just to make it through to the playoffs. Kiyoshima, he'll take down Apex. He's still got an SMG to work with. So he's building up some bank. I don't know how prominent the T side of the AWP will be on a team like FaZe. I know Alu likes to wield it, but it depends on how much outer control they want. And they're getting all the kills they desire at this point in time. In fact, a lot of them coming on SMGs. 4 of them.
Yep.
So that's big money gathered.
Big money. They can keep those MAC 10s. When you've got this sort of lead on the T side, I'm not completely opposed to keeping the MAC 10s. Maybe chuck one of them away. Okay, yeah, one of them goes down. Carrying gets sort of his. Like we said, it's a best of 1. You kind of have a chance of a kind of experiment, and they're actually going to be keeping 1 MAC 10. That's in the hands of Carrigan, so he's giving it over towards Raven's rifle. And we can see the buyers coming in now. Oh, it's not great. Happy on the max 7 here. Kenny S, Glass Cannon, AWP. Like we said, he kept a little bit of money in reserve there in the previous force buy. He's towards ramp. He's actually going towards secret, but it seems things going to be going a safer route as the flashbangs come in. A faster play from the teams. Of course, they've got that Mac 10. Why not? See what they can do. And there's 2 unarmored heads. Make it 3 with Kenny S, no armor at all. So that Mac 10 is actually quite viable in this situation.
On the other side of what I was saying, if Envy failed here, it would be nice lineup from MBK. Be the 3rd straight time they go out in groups. Last time they would have made playoffs was when they were the champions of Cluj. Kerrigan has bypassed all of the chaos at upper to take Bomb down at lower. But he's in a 1 versus 4, so Bomb, all it really serves to do, unless he has something up his sleeve, is to inject more cash. Yeah. You're right, so if he does damage on what will be a 3-round reset, it's going to be a harder situation for Envyus to buy in the next round. They've only got 3 digits of money. He's got a good position on this corner for Apex to walk into. He's not going to anticipate to be hugging the wall. And staying at still full HP, knowing where the bomb is, he actually has done a tremendous job to get a plant. I take that back. Bomb's behind Silo. They're on it in the smoke. They've gotten off it because they hear him getting closer. But Happy, no kit, is just going to get back to it in, well, I think he's got about 3 more seconds, but just in time.
That could have fallen apart tremendously there. Kerrigan, I was to say, do damage. He almost won that. They had no kits in that 2 versus 1. He finds 1 more kill. Happy misses the shot. That falls apart. This was a fast play from FaZe Clan. We knew it was going to be with that kind of really light buy. They're working the economy, just working Envyus and grinding them down. But Kerrigan there, 4 versus 1, brings it down to 2v1, and we said all he wanted to do is do damage to their economy. He's got the extra $800 for his team, taking 2 more down, and you can see that being reflected on their buy right now. 6 is still on a Famous. Apex yet to buy. I'm not sure he's got an M4 on the ground, so yeah, he's okay. But still, you can see there's a lot of reinvestment here. As soon as FaZe pick up around here, it's going to be a double eco situation for Envy going forward. So, big round coming in, number 7. FaZe Clan still 4-2. Ray makes his way towards the silo here. Presumably more of a default, smokes towards outside, get that lower control, but not giving anything away just yet. Kenny S towards ramp this time. He's actually in the vents for now.
It's a bit peculiar. I think, yeah, so this might have been what he was aiming for. Lower rotation, get towards secret and catch them off, but then they saw a lot of utility early in that outer position, and perhaps he didn't think he could get there in time. He's now playing corner lower when they enter through. I will say, there's probably 2 AWP players, Guardian might be the 3rd in his prime, that are good up close. I would say Kenny and Fallen. So Kenny's fine with it and comfortable in an angle like that.
Towards ramp they go. 6 in this position, he's by himself, right? He spots 1, goes for 1 kill, then he wants to fall back. He knows it's too late now. He can hear them so close. He wants to stay alive at this stage. He's done it so far, but AZ's on the hunt. Found him as well. He doesn't land the headshot. Takes a lot of damage himself, and Kenny S backing him up. Sixer doing great work here.
Tremendous job in the crossfire. They works out perfectly with the back away presence, and Kenny again down below. Another close shot, fast peek. He's going to leave Alu in a position in the open, and Apex will catch Kerrigan trying to sneak in from behind. That's going to bring Envy right back into this.
That's how you play ramp. You don't want to be committing to those duels. He can hear the footsteps very close to him. His options there. He can stand up and go for 1 kill. It's very likely to be a 1 and done though. He'll go down with 1 frag, and he's going to open up that bomb site for his teammates. He stays alive as long as possible. Kenny S rotates, like we said, he's in that bench position to the window room, finds another kill. The crossfire is set up to perfection at that point. 6 is staying alive. They're facing, communicating, instead of sat next to each other on your screen right now, and is making sure when one's facing, the other one's not, taking that aggro away at all times. We said that was going to be a big round. Envy has managed to negate it and avoid that harsh reset, which could have led to a double eco there. So that's really, really nice stuff, especially from Sixer. He might have got all the frags, but trust me, his play there was phenomenal.
Efficiency is key. As long as he doesn't go down early, he can still be a
Ramp,
factor. And we saw what happened. Kenny gets 1 shot, he pops back up.
Ramp is just one of those positions you need to, like, Six has played that role tremendously on this team since he's come in, like playing those kind of role positions where he's in bomb sites by himself, and that's almost a bomb site in this map. Like, Nuke is a gateway to the, obviously to lower and towards upper. You want to be finding 1 frag there and staying alive. That's the key part of being a ramp player. With a Famous like that and to hold him off as long as he did and get multiple frags as well, it's very impressive as a package. But 4-3, Envyus grinding back into this one. It's still a buy available for FaZe here. Alu, of course, on the AWP, surrounded by 4 AK-47s, just trying to find that first pick.
He's going to sneak up with a Molotov, double off that position in behind CT crate. Or anyone slipping through the nicks and crannies, the alcoves to try and catch them off as they get closer and get toward outer. He's just holding off to watch heaven at this point in time. They'll keep the AWP facing into secret, but NBK's position is very clever in this, because if they do want to wrap around, as AC's position, might suggest, they won't even expect to look back at forklift. The one thing they still have the option for is this. So thankfully Apex has considered it, because if they don't go that far and they don't go down to Secret, which is also being watched as we mentioned, then Apex has to stand in charge. Secret open. It's going to be main entrance. They want Apex position perfect, but only for one. Head gets torn off immediately after. Instead, it's Happy on the floor who's got to step up. He does a quick dance around the silos and finds a kill on either side. It leaves Alu remaining.
What?
And inside the window where he cannot move. 17 HP. Hits a shot on Happy to bring it to a 1 versus 2. He's got bomb, but he's hesitant. Not sure which way to go. They're going to spot him heading down inside the vents as well. And fast plant immediately inside of the site. Left himself open onto the vents, but perhaps for better. Ooh, missed shot coming in from ramp. From Kenny. That could have ended the round. For better, they slow this down to play at a 1 versus 2. Kenny's going to watch the stairs. Smoke funnels him in that direction, and they're going to tie it on 4.
It's all coming together now for Envyus, but that round, Happy, I'm interested to see how he went down there. You can see it was a great start for him, getting a couple of frags there. But Alu, 17 HP, I thought, okay, well, he's certainly dead at this point. He's going to go towards the window, and we'll see how Happy actually ended up missing that one. I thought he pulled the pistol out, and he was going to be getting that easy frag. But the bomb does go down towards lower. They lose more frags than needed, but still they do break the economy of FaZe Clan. So no harm, no foul at this point, but it could have boosted the money at that stage just by keeping 4 players alive. Alu got away with a lot at that point. Well then, partial buy here, I believe, Matt. I don't think this is the full force. We've still got 2K available. Lost bonus about 3, so they get $2,900 into the next round. It's to D side, 4-4. Don't need to make any crazy moves at this point. He's still doing very well in the early stages.
And MBK again is going to be playing back toward that CT spawn area. Played actually inside Hell this time, so underneath the heaven, he wants to make sure they can't wrap around. He can play the locker room. Kenny up close. Oh, look for the second. Fast moving to try and get away, but Alu snuck all the way through in the turnpike rotation. Sixer gets caught. But unfortunately for Alu, he's left with 1 HP as his teammates have gone down. Fast flank through radio, and it's caught them off entirely.
Oh, where's the AWP? Oh, there we go. MBK just gets it in the nick of time there. Good work overall. It was a little partial buy. They can be a bit tricky to hold off towards ramp. They win those Tech 9s. Got an equal exchange to kick things off there. Some close range action from Kenny S, which he's known for and so proficient at. But he did go down. Form recovered though. Next gun round comes in. It's 5-4. Envyus take the lead for the first time. And it will be 5 rifles this time for FaZe. No Alu AWP.
MBK pushing up with his teammates. This time they're going very fast toward ramp again, even though they know they'll be up against rifles once more. And it's Kenny S off that direction, but I think he's actually dropped down, so he'll rotate over towards Secret. Yeah, he's heading lower tunnels right now. And they're going fast onto Secret. Double wall of smoke out. Kiyoshima, he's already made it down past the vents that quickly. Now, he must have gone through Squeaky. Surely he gets through Squeaky at that point. Let's see if the door is open, but he must have gone through the door. Yeah, he did. Snades were already there. Apex tries to make up for it, but vent down. He actually got tagged on the way through. And Kiyoshima down below on 27. Has lost his teammate already. He'll hear Apex dropping in, but he's actually got position. Apex, he's backing up into decontamination, and there's Kiyoshima to walk out. So getting down there and just holding off. He's actually bought some space for his teammates because now they have ramp on up. And Kiyoshima, he's ready to take down Sixer. Kenny's trying to find an angle, and they're getting closer still. Door shut. Perfect time to do it. Nearly still snaps around to find Kerrigan.
I thought that was it. A close range shot could have decided the round. It should be quite secure for FaZe at this point, but MBK still trying to see what's available for him here. Happy strikes first, so 3-on-2 now. It's got become a little bit more possible, but Rain eradicates the chance. Just Happy now in a flashbang. That separates FaZe from picking up round number 5.
There's money left, with the exception of Sixer, to buy in the next round. He can be dropped from Kenny if Kenny doesn't elect to go for the op, but I think he wanted the op to get away because they're trying to stabilize that money on everyone instead of dropping and wearing themselves thin. Kiyoshima, I have to give credit to. He got out so squeaky so fast, I didn't even catch it. We were still watching the take outside. He gets down there and just holds this position. They go for the wall of smoke as fast as possible and then send 2 ramp, knowing even if one of these approaches fail, Kiyoshima's just going to hold position for us.
So the idea behind that is as soon as he gets down towards lower, they don't know if he has to bomb. The player who's playing ramp has to leave at that point. They can't allow the bombs to be fully open. So the player playing the ramp room, he has to drop down. They go back towards lobby, get 4 in the ramp itself, and then they come in and split at the perfect time. Kiyoshima just lurking there, takes that first kill down. The round falls apart for Envyus.
That's actually one thing that's true from 1.6. Used to be a big, giant backpack. You knew exactly who had the bomb. You could still see it on the belted CSGO, but it's tougher to see. And they definitely spotted him because there was damage done into the smoke, but it's one of those split seconds where, are you sure he has it or not? Kio's going to catch off Apex this time as well, so they start off well again for FaZe. 5-5. FaZe on the T side with a man advantage, get to the 6th round this early. Looks very good, specifically with the question marks above the nuke side of Envyus.
Yeah, we haven't seen them play this tournament. They seem excited when Nuke was there. You can see when the rounds are working in their favor, it looks like a very well-oiled operation right now in terms of the crossfires and the KDS AWP. But this round, it was a difficult buy. ET is a 5-3 now, but MBK strikes back and he finds a shot, but it should be ready to take him down. There it is. It's going to be easy to finish the job off, but still a 4-on-2 with a minute remaining. Not really much 6 that KNS can do here. They have no kits either. Very difficult to retake here. The bomb should be planted momentarily, and you can see KNS retreating towards CT spawn. It'll be Six's job just to protect him. That's the main objective at this point. Get the AWP and make sure it survives into the next round.
And Sixer's got 0 money. So even if he protects him, every kill he gets in the SMG.
That's true. Yeah.
Doesn't build it up. I mean, I'm sure he wants to keep the SMG as well.
Yeah.
Let's not rule that out. That's still decent. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if he builds up 1 kill, 2 kills, great.
Well then, FaZe do it again. Some nice work there. Tag team action. It's AZ and Kiyashima who seem to be fragging quite highly for this team so far.
Big round as well from FaZe Clan because this is a 4-round reset. So they avoid going into an eco, and they're going to send Envy into that situation.
Everyone knows when you're a CT and you're saving, you go towards your spawn. Kenny Esto, he's waiting with the AWP. So do they actually want to challenge this? Do they want to commit? It's very likely a player like him is going to hit every single shot. They'll see whether they won't give anything away here. Sixer. Oh, I thought he was going to run around the corner there, I was about to say, but he manages to stay alive. So in terms of money, we can buy into this with a UMP and the orb surviving. You can drop UMP to teammates. It would be like one of those all-in moves, right? You want to be either conservative and say, okay, let's just see what Kenny can do, save our money, we'll win this, we can still win the half here at this point, or go for the classic French mentality, force around it. You've got a Kenny S AWP, which is hitting shots as well. I'd say take a pause. Yeah, it must be for Envyus, yep. Take the pause. Kenny's buying some grades as well. This is when Happy needs to decide, do we actually bother buying into this round? It's a big, big call at this point. You can see him discussing it. So is it worth it? We have a UMP, AWP, but if we buy up around this, we're going to be on an eco situation. Then it can start to fall apart. More conservative approach. It's rare to say that
From
when you're watching a team Envyus
I mean,
play.
this is the thing. You're playing for a spot in the playoffs,
Yep.
the legendary status to make sure you're in the next major.
Okay, well, still, you have Kenny S on the AWP. We saw what JW could do with that. 4 pistols around you, give you information. He goes to the first pick, changes position up, and it looks like an upper rush coming in. Why not from FaZe? They get the first kill, but Apex does get one in return.
Very fast. Both guns still in play. Kenny as well, but not much they're going to be able to do with it without control. Kerrigan, very smart. He'll sit back and wait. And they know where that op is if they elect to go for it or not. Happy, try and foil some plans by sneaking up ladder late. Have they actually all left? Okay, I thought Alu and Rain were both well removed from the action, trying to chase down Kenny. The overlay misled me. It looked like they were on the inside of garage. Because if Happy finds 1 kill and pops up, there was a chance he could go for the defuse, but they don't have a kit, so.
So one thing I will say, normally on most maps, whenever I say there's an orb saved or anything like that, we discuss this all the time. I say rushes are normally the worst thing you can possibly do. But on a map like Nuke, when you know an orb's been saved by a player like Kenny S, it's very rare an AWP is going to be sat in the upper bomb site waiting for an upper rush, right? He's going to be either towards ramp room or towards outside trying to challenge an AWPer. So I actually don't mind that at all from Kerrigan. He knows that. He knows it's very unlikely that AWP's going to be, even if it's towards heaven, he's not going to be primarily looking towards the inside side. That upper rush from Squeaky Door as well, find the first few kills, ascertain the Kenny S is in the upper bomb site. He stays alive, sure, but you've won the round. You're on the T side here. You've got 7 rounds so far. It's going very well indeed. This is the best of 1. Losers going home. And right now, FaZe in a fantastic position. But credit to Envyus, they did make the conservative play there. They saved the orb once again, and they didn't invest too heavily into that round. So they managed to get 4 rifles around Kenny this time, and they get some nades as well. So we'll see what they can do here. Another full buy going forward. They have some kits to work with as well. But FaZe, yeah, they're looking sharp right now. Working, no one's really standing out, especially. Kiyoshima's had some nice plays, but they're working well as a unit.
Field drop to floor. Skylight's blown out this time. A little bit of, utility outside as well. It's not really revealing anything, and they're going to try and take this position. Full wall of smokes. No gaps as far as I can tell from where they were landed. Kenny's trying to pre-fire into it. It's NBK down below. Apex has to go to the far side. Remember, second vent not existent anymore, so he's got to go the long way around to get in there and drop down quickly. NBK is going to have to be pretty precise on this, and it's going to be a smoke deployed by a lot of time. The question is, can they get a crossfire set? Is anyone else going to come down and join in that lower site?
It's really intelligent from MBK, and see him holding the tiniest pixel angle there, the smoke out. He knows it's unlikely he's going to get pre-fired at that point. Oh. Okay, he just goes for a pre-fire himself through the smoke. Unfortunately, Carrigan gets one in return, but that was lovely work from MBK overall. Kenny S strikes back, and it's a 4-on-3.
And he's got the stairwell covered off. It's a headshot angle for NBK. It does exactly that to AZ. Kio's going to try and push him back. He's actually going to go by him toward control room. And Alu has to get in position to help, but he's still going to go by NBK. Molotov, that'll move him back, but he can still stay on the stairs to try and hit the shot. Better from Alu. Down to the 2 versus 2. Bomb, Kio says, here, you take that. I've got the high HP. I'll watch through the window to make sure no one's going to come down and pick on you. But they don't know exactly where the CTs are, and there's multiple angles they can still come back into the site from. One of them being inside of those vents. And they're going to go 1 to vent, 1 to decontamination room. That'll leave the planter in the open, but Alu, he hugs the wall, 12 HP, gets spotted up. Happy goes through. Kenny made the call exactly where he was. Nade doesn't quite reach Happy, and Kenny, he's going to try and slip around behind. AWP's going to miss, but nails it up close immediately after.
Kenny, yes, delivers just when it matters most as well. A big round for Envyus there. FaZe doing very well indeed to bring it down to that situation. This was the opening frag of the round. I can't believe it. MBK wildly sprays through the smoke there, takes down the 1 player. We have a nice little ramp split coming in. Carrigan fires a killer ramp, but Kenny, yes, he starts rotating at this point. This is the final frag. Was it a no-scope? Very quick scope, I think. But still, Kenny S doing a lovely job there to finish it off. He is known to deliver those situations almost every single time. Envyus now closed the gap. 7-6. Still money available, though. It was a big plant. Nice work in the 2-on-2 from FaZe to actually get the bomb down there. You can see they had 1 smoke and 1 flashbang there. So now with the vents, there's only 1 exit there for the CTs. You know you can plant on the right-hand side there. And he smoked off towards the ramp room. It's kind of eradicated 2 risks and then watch the vents so the CTs can actually exit out of. So it was quite a good opportunity to get the bomb down there. Comes down to the 1-on-1, but, well, I should say 2 versus 1. But Kenny S delivering in that close range encounter. We go into round number 14 here, 7-6. The lead still lies with FaZe Clan, but this will be the last time they have money. If they lose this one, they could potentially actually...
Sixer dropped as well.
Ooh.
Okay, so there was... Never mind, take that back. It looked like he'd bought 2,700. There was nothing sitting in front of him, but he actually grabbed an M4, so there was 1 on the ground in front of him.
Yeah, if Envyus loses this round, they're going to be in deep trouble. Same story for FaZe, really. No one built up any loss bonus at all.
Kenny's position a little more aggressive this time over toward Radio. And he's going to get pushing all the way through with confidence. Kiyoshima, he's inside toward the hut, smoked off. That's going to funnel him back, and Kenny's got vision in toward lobby at this point, but not quite that far. He doesn't want to get too aggressive. He just wants to sit so he can try and find them early. Instead, though, Alu, he'll open up the picks. That's going to give Kenny a chance to try and compensate, to pull back. Hasn't spotted anyone just yet. Can't unscope or scope further because he'll be heard. Instead, with no one there, back away.
Yeah, good work from him. We've got the first pick here for Alu. They've got some outside control here. They'll presumably split between the catwalk and the upper area itself. But Kenny S rotating and takes down AZ.
It's a smart play. Knows there's no one in lobby. They haven't reached the upper site yet. They have to be outers, so he goes back through ramp to greet them when they wrap around. Finding 1 pick does bring it closer. Alu's still waiting to make sure no one's going to walk out from secret, but Rain has gotten up. Oh, shoulder showing. Smoke dissolved, and Sixer nearly had the chance to take him down. Happy's got to hug a corner. It's a very tight place to play. He's got to nail shots. He's got to be dead accurate, but they'll wrap onto him immediately after, get the trade, and it's Kenny versus 3. Back through the hut, made a noise. They know where he is. Alu's there.
Alu, nice work that round. He gets 2 frags, opens it up, and finishes it off as well. Here's the first frag he got on a flash player as well. MBK, they're trying to get towards CD spawn desperately there. And this was a shot, you spotted it. Like, Sika, there's a kind of a late reaction from him, wasn't he? Didn't anticipate the player to be coming in. Normally in the smoke windows like that, he's coming in from that right-hand side, but he was waiting on the left. Didn't anticipate it, got punished for it. That's a big round. I did say no loss bonus at all for Envyus working in their favor. So that's a full reset now as we go to round number 15. FaZe Clan have won the half. It's 8-6. Very likely to be 9-6. And on the T side, these days in this kind of matchup, that's quite unheard of. It's still a very CT-sided map, so it's looking fantastic for FaZe.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of work cut out for them. It goes without saying, got to win the pistol to get the momentum rolling when we swap over. Last round of the first half.
Rushing.
8-7 potentially, or is it going to be 9-6? AZ with a pistol does well to slow down the initial push, but they've lost 1 man on the defense and only the shotgun in terms of upgraded weaponry. A few pistols bought into it, but got to be very careful about the placement of that shotgun. We know it can be threatening inside the upper site. I've seen Hiko use the pump shotgun there multiple times, but now as they push through, they've got the bomb. Sixer's got Kiyoshima down. Surprisingly, that gives them quite a bit to work with. Sixer may only have 20 HP, but he's picked up an AK. This shotgun's getting closer, but gets caught. Sixer, they know he's going to be back there with that bomb. They know the kill came from that direction. Alu goes roof, spots him up, and they'll just converge on him, all 3. This is going to be a 9-6. Double flash through, grab bomb, get out. There's no need to face him, just hold him there.
Yeah, they've done a really good job there, FaZe. Very efficient, making sure they get the bomb, fall back, Rain towards the flank. He can be a sacrifice at that point. Managed to get the frag regardless. It was a rush, a desperate last attempt there. Apex got the first frag, to be fair, but his teammates on the T roofs there locked in. They got the bomb down, but it's a nice retake from FaZe overall. Alu with some more nice shots there. Good work from him overall. Seemed to have a decent half. He was opening rounds up, finishing them off. Kenny S with 15 kills. Karrigan on 15 as well. So the in-game leader, of course, we saw them actually drop off.
Previous.
Yeah, and he's top fragging for them. So here's the ADR of both the big players from the first half. It's Kenny S on 89 and Karrigan on 81. Kenny S certainly delivering 15 kills. Same story for Karrigan as well. But you have to say, Matt, quite a heavy advantage for FaZe here. They win the pistol. They get 9 rounds out on the terrorist half. If they win this one on the CT half as well, Envyus in a world of trouble.
Yeah, that's a big problem for Envyus if that's the case.
Well then.
So Karrigan as well, not to mention the fact that he's top fragging. We saw a few moments of that from him, that the potential was there in the right circumstances during his Australis tenure. Remember, not only is he top fragging right now, he brings everything this team needed. He's brought them together. He's brought the leadership they didn't have. And they say it. They know it. They're playing much better as a unit. But to put point on that, to put a exclamation point, make the playoffs of a major. That has to be their goal.
They never really have this whole project since it was like Kinguin, then to
The
G2.
very, very first major, they did have semifinals against Envy.
That's right.
It
So that
was a
was-
very.
it's
This is
not-
actually a rematch, but it's a very different roster, so you can't say that.
Yeah, so then it was there. Is when it went to like G2, that's when it kind of like falling apart a little bit then. And there was like a roster change almost every couple of months. It kind of was kind of underwhelming at that point. FaZe as a whole, yeah, it seems a lot stronger now. And they're in a great position to actually make it to the playoff of a major. Let's have a look at the buy. 5 sets of armor for Envyus, no utility whatsoever. So, in terms of actually executing onto the site, the rush is off the cards now, so it'll have to be delayed. We have got 4 sets of armor for FaZe as well. Ali with the HE grade and the diffuse kit. Ryan spotting towards outside. This will be some sort of burst play from Envyus. Going to choose a time, shoot the windows out. I think they're trying to sell flashbangs coming in potentially. Yeshim open things up.
Brilliant start. Rain and AZ. Problems ensue. Bomb is dropped. And Envy, it's all on to Happy. 1 versus 4. He's found the first. He's got time for the reload, but maybe not. Karrigan just takes his head off, and that is worst case scenario for the French. 10-6 and momentum for FaZe.
I like the idea behind that. I tell you exactly what they're trying to do. They shoot the windows out, so they think it's flashbangs raining in from above. That's going to cue the CT to look into the walls, but actually they didn't throw any grenades at all. That's the idea. You want to get the CTs looking to the wall there. Didn't really work out that way. The CTs didn't turn away at all. Mow them down as they come in, and FaZe do pick up the pistol. That's a huge deal. No bomb going down as well. That's a problem. Almost as they have to force by here, which they have done. Desert Eagle, Tech 9s, a couple of flashbangs, some armor as well. FaZe pick this up. Envyus have to eco, and at that point it'd be 12-6. So really important for Envyus to pick this up. At one point known to be the master of this sort of round. The Desert Eagle Kings, but Rain, he opens things up with the Scout, takes down Apex.
Good shot on the Scout to do exactly that. Tags up as well on Kenny. Peeks again. That one would have done it without the first tag. Headshot. Insurance, we call that.
Yeah, just make sure he's definitely dead. Wow.
BK still at ramp's going to try and push on Karrigan as well, but this won't really amount to much unless Karrigan completes himself with ammunition like that. Because then Alu can slide in and save the day, but Six are getting that kill. Slightly awkward and interesting. Alu had to go to the pistol that time, but he'll close it. They stick with their 11th round. They don't let what happened in the first half happen again, and that being winning a pistol and then losing the subsequent round. They actually keep momentum firmly in their favor this time.
Yeah, up against the ropes now. Envyus have to take a full eco, like I said. Almost certainly going to be 12-6 after this round. Karrigan, he knows how much this means to him. This is his first major since his departure from Australis. Glaive was brought in to provide more firepower for Australis, but and is still tactical mastermind, right? But Karrigan now top ranking for his team, and they're 1 game away, a few rounds away from making the playoffs. FaZe's first major.
And if rumors are true about a French shuffle, perhaps confirmation in the fact, and I'll talk over this because AZ just has a straight lineup as they walk into him. Confirmation perhaps in the fact that if Envy don't succeed, both French teams are out in groups. There will be no French team in the playoffs yet again. Whereas Sweden, I would have thought this would have been their worst major in showing. Fnatic somehow still make it through despite not seeing them in the last few months. NIP obviously not even here. And Denmark slips in north. All 3 of those countries, which are big Counter-Strike countries, could have been left without anyone in the playoffs. Thankfully, they all get there. And there's another team that's trying to hold the hopes of a region. If Liquid doesn't make it through, it would be after the most successful year for NACS, probably ever, in 2016. First major of 2017, if Liquid don't beat Australis, could be without an NA team.
Well, here we go then. The buy comes in. It's going to be Rain keeping his scouts and Carrigan with the UMP. I don't mind this necessarily. It's definitely a bit of a gamble. At this point, you just want to be winning the map, right? I would say screw the money. Let's just force out, and they're going to be rushing a little bit audacious. But Alu does respond, bring down to a 4-on-4, and Ace is going to be pushing it as well. But Envyus just mopping up the frags at this point. It's going to be a 3-on-2. It's going to be an equal situation for now. 1 versus 1.
Good read from AZ, but he knows where he is. And Kenny's too quick on the case. Can't get the reload in time. He did what he could considering his situation. Putting himself back inside the site may have actually cost him in the long run. It's all intuitive at that point in time when you have to snake make a snap decision. If he actually pushed in the lobby and isolated the 1 versus 2, maybe there's a chance.
That's actually kind of cool though if you think about it. The fact it comes down to the 1v1 at the end, it means the terrorists, that money's not going to be in a great position. You are actually saving a lot of money there, keeping the scout and the UMP. It comes down to the 1v1. AZ did very well, and you can see that reflected right now. 3 Galils for Envyus. We've got a full buy for FaZe here, and this will be a reset as well. They win this round, it's another eco for Envyus. This is actually looking very promising indeed. So, all things considered, that works out very well for FaZe. They don't win the round, sure, but if they win this, that could be one of the final nails in the coffin here. That's actually kind of cool situation.
As Apex gets up on top of mini roof, they got rid of the original air conditioning duct that was up there as well. It's a lot more open. Alu's got Apex down, but you're right, Kenny's tagged at 22. That's even worse for the Envyus side. Not to mention what you just said. They can break the economy at 13-7.
Yep.
That's a big deal.
They fully invest into this round. They'll get 1,400 in the next round. So that's big.
You talked about what Sixer did in the first round, playing efficiently at ramp. Kerrigan tries to go for the pop shot, but then drops down. He doesn't back away fully because he knows, and maybe he should have now, because he knows Alu was inside a turnpike. He was trying to bait them in toward Alu, but they smartly Molotov him off. This is going to sway the round. They've got the lead in it. They've got low HP on 2. They've got a bit to work with. Bomb's going to be down below. Sixer place the hot potato in its grave, and then it's going to be a rotation down through the vents. They'll hear that. Kenny knows it, but he's got a tight angle to play on an AK. As soon as the vents explode open, take 1 step to his 4 position and get the headshot potentially. Go aggressive, try and find that kill, get the information as well as Kiyoshima gets toward decontamination. Flash to corner serves to blind anyone toward Toxic, and up on ramp, and there it is. Vents blown open, Kenny walks forward 1 step, gets the headshot, but that lets Kiyoshima down in from below, walks into the corner, that bypasses shots coming in from ramp. Everybody's so close to dead. Oh, this could be huge. Alu, have they heard him? He was down in there when they didn't see him, and he just barely gets found. As he got down to 2 seconds, and Happy realizes it.
I didn't hear the defuse there. I think it was
2 went down after bomb as well. 2 just went down, so that's big money lost still.
Yeah, but that's it. Like, all things considered, I think they'll be happy to win the round. I don't think FaZe can justify forcing into this one. You have a look at their money. It's around the 2K mark average, maybe a little bit less than that. And yeah, that's Envyus. After losing that first kill as well, somehow they get a little ram from. I think that's 2 seconds. I didn't hear the defuse come in. I think there was a lot of gunfire going on. Alu in the smoke there. 2 more seconds, and Happy's the one who saves it with the Glock. Kenny might have just knifed him in time, I'm not sure, but like you said, they get the first kill there, 5-on-4 in a huge situation. Carrigan certainly relying on his teammate there. I think he assumed Alu was a little bit more aggressive. He was holding quite a tight angle there, allows Carrigan to go down, and at that point, the ramp room, they lose control of it. Happy finds a frag in towards upper. The round does fall apart. The retake, very difficult on this map towards that lower bomb site. So, at this point, we're going to have to take an eco here. I don't think FaZe have to force into this one. There's a little bit of investment, to be fair. Rain has gone down to $400 with the scout, and they got 2nd stage loss bonus, so if they do lose this one, it's going to be $2,400 on top of that. So it's going to be a double eco almost certainly. See what they can do as we go into round number 21. They have invested PG-50s, body armor, head armor, the flashbangs. So they're looking to see what they can do with this one. They've got a kit as well, so they are slightly believing this is a possibility.
Oh, what?
Okay.
That's nuts.
Okay.
Onto the railing and catches him, nearly gets Happy. Come on, Rain.
What, you're not happy with that?
I don't think Happy's happy with it. Is he making it rain, Henry? Anything else you want to get in there?
Well, we'll see.
I'll dedicate the next one to you, which is why I'm not going to do a next one, because you don't deserve it. MBK is going to get toward the ramp. It's just Kerrigan waiting. P250 in hand. Quick flash, and he wants to stick and try and catch them off on ramp again rather than go all the way down. Now he will. I like to do exactly that. Where's he going to play this from? Go toward Toxic or sit in the nook on the left side? Dark spot. Kenny's got it. Doesn't matter. No time to hide, and they're already inside of the site. This should make it 12-9, and Envy collecting rounds they desperately need, but not to rule out AZ's position. Does a little bit of damage poking out from inside a control room. Sixer Jumps down, Hail Mary, get the bomb in position, and MBK, oh,
Hello.
that's from Kenny.
Yep.
Kenny gets a kill, takes down his low HP player. Keo's gonna get a gun off of this, which could strengthen their economy going forward. I doubt they'll go for the round. I take that back, Keo steps in, he had a kit, but probably not advised, and as set, Drain will grab the gun, try to get away. They're gonna push him down, get that out of his hands, and Envy starting to get a little bit of control going their way.
Yeah, bit of a scary round there. Rain opens things up there. Headshot from Hell towards Apex. If he gets a kill on towards Happy as Silo, that round could be over. But that's a nice little AT grenade. To be fair, Kenny S is very proficient these days with the rifles. He gets 3 very nice headshots out of the AK, regardless of the team kill. He secures that round. Like I said, that was going to be double eco regardless. So we have FaZe Clan now. We allow Envyus to get the double digits. Maybe this game isn't over just yet. That really big round, they had the double galore. I think it was even triple galores to win when they went towards the lower bomb site. That could be the most pivotal of them all as we go into round number 22. Nothing really purchased here. A couple of Deagles, some PT50s, and Kiyoshima on that 5-7. Apex doing some quick work here. Going to be getting swiftly toward the main entrance, taking the head off AZ this time.
Down AZ and Kiyoshima. Kenny follows that up, and this isn't really what I fully expected in talking to their pregame, or listening to their pregame talk. I would have expected a lot more rapping from Outer, but that time they do get to hut fast, and they cause chaos on the upper site. So I'm still curious to see if they're going to go for a lot more Outer to Heaven and Hell control. As Apex does very fast positioning inside a hut.
It's going up an hour, like it's not as scary as it used to be in the other older versions of Nuke before it came back into the rotation. Rushing up was much scarier, right? Because you had the catwalk area surrounding, so you could stack in all 4 corners of the upper bomb set. That's not a possibility anymore. So the upper brush is a lot more viable against pistols these days. So it's difficult to argue the results sometimes.
Here we go. This is a little bit more outside pressure. Double smokes. Kenny throws his left. That goes in front of hut, or rather, excuse me, main entrance. Which means they can actually push with the wall, exactly that, toward big garage. They leave the yard open entirely. But how do they try and take advantage of it? Because Rain and AZ are positioned accordingly. AZ's down below, and Rain goes back corner, big garage, to allow them to wrap onto main entrance. He'll give that up, and in turn, in watching that, he also watches if they go toward Heaven. So this should confirm to AZ, if Rain doesn't see anyone, either they backed away, which is unlikely, or they are heading down that secret stairwell. So AZ's gone more passive as a result.
Nothing really obtained as of yet. Looks like they're going to poke towards ramp, and that smoke allows them to get out if they want to. Takes the vision away from the CT side, but could still execute towards the upper bomb side as well. They've got some outside control. I think one player in the form of Happy has made it towards Secret as well. That kill is huge. Apex has been great this week. Takes down Rain. They're going to go to upper bomb side here.
The same split now that they've taken him down. Better play from Keo this time. Drops the bomb, and Alu, AWP in position. No railing anymore on that crossbeam, but he still takes advantage of it, Keo, and he's ready for Happy to walk up Heaven. He tries to make the call. Happy will get found as Alu. Rather AZ, excuse me, is going to get that shot because he could have been caught off by Happy, and that would have been the round. Kenny's able to scoop up the bomb and all of this, though, and he's got it down below with an AK, not AWP. And he's planted, and he's going to have time to get away. Door open and closed, that's a cell. He's trying to tell AZ he's going that direction, and AZ walks in unaware. It works out. They'll get their 11th. We're within 1.
Really smart stuff from Kenny S. He's just doing such a tremendous job of that AK so far. We thought the round was over. The kills coming back in favor of FaZe there. Kiyoshima and Alu doing a great job, even finding the 3rd. But Kenny S comes back to life there, finds a couple of nade kills, and gets down towards the 1v1. You said it. He opens and shuts the door, signifying that, okay, I've gone towards the vent. I'm going to play a clutch here, and AZ can't really waste time. He has to believe that's actually true. Runs in, gets taken down, and Kenny S, he wins a very important round here. Another eco. This should tie things up at 12-12. Still the advantage towards FaZe, but they're going to be struggling here. It's another partial buy. The lost bonus starts to rack up for them, and still quite dangerous here. Kenny S will go down first.
Shots from AZ. Mr. Rain and Kerrigan.
No.
And Rain again. They steal the round. Very fast play toward the lobby position. And that's how you get momentum back.
Take a pause, boys.
And yeah, I would pause. We know these guys, especially Kenny's quite emotional. You've got very little rounds of mistakes left to make because there's 5 to go before the end of regulation, and they're ahead by 2, 13-11. That brings the money almost level. They win another one, and it's a save.
Gutting feeling though, losing against those kind of partial buys. A 5-7 pincer you, but it can fall apart just like that. I would have said take a pause at that point, but Envyus are happy to proceed. They've got a CZ. They do have the Kenny S AWP this time, but big round. No head arm of Kenny as well. It's quite an important note. I guess there's 4 AKs available for the CTs. As Rain's demonstrating right now, rips off the head of MBK and makes it a 5-on-4. He's actually been really good at game for those opening picks. Scouts, AKs, M4, you name it, he's been finding them. So another 5-on-4 here, but FaZe have found themselves in situations with the advantage where players like this Karrigan over FaZe and give it away.
Oh, I thought Rain was going to try and slip through the smoke behind them. Instead, he goes to main entrance. While the smoke's out, he nearly catches them off. He was trying to figure out best in his mind which and how to play that situation with that wraparound smokes that they throw. But AZ down below, he rotates again. He'll catch off Apex, and they have the crossfire. One of the most powerful crossfires in the game, and yet Happy nails a headshot on Karrigan. If you play both those headshots on the stairs, it's so hard to get down into lower. AZ does still hold the other side of it, and that's enough to make it 14 rounds, as I said. Envy's money's gone. This is a problem.
That could be, They have no money whatsoever. That was a force by the AWP. Ineffective there, and we go into round number 26. This surely will be the pause for Team Envyus, and it was Rain who opened things up. They actually, for that full save, they got 4 AKs, Matt, and that's actually such a benefit on the CD side. Normally, you're actually using the M4s, and that means you have to double headshot to actually kill someone quite quickly. Give it someone like Rain the AK, they're going to take kind of audacious angles, go for the initial face set. They know they've got an equal duel at that point. He finds that first headshot, funnels them down, and at that point, like you said, that crossfire is enabled, and they start getting in great positions there. FaZe now really are working the body. Envyus now, they can buy into this just about, I think. So what have they got so far? An AK for Happy. Okay, not great. CZs, Tech 9s, PD50s. This
How much
could be
that
a
5-7 round means. They don't win that 5-7 rounds, we're at a tie game right now. It's 12-12. Potentially more than that, because who knows where the money would have been again from FaZe. This is, that was a defining round in this game. This is massive for them, and they've got momentum. Not quite go as quickly together this time. There's no need to. Let them make their own mistakes on the Envy side. 1 AK for Happy.
Yeah, this is it now. He's got no head armor as well. So it's a mishmash of weaponry, CZs, Tech 9s, a few smokes. If they somehow pull this one off, I'll be very impressed. Maybe get a smoke out the squeaky door here, try and get down towards the vents, get Happy in there, but they've been smoked out just as their teammates are executing towards outside as well. That's a problem.
He's waiting down below once more, but it's Rain that's going to hold off the main door. So he does actually take it back. He was above. He's beside the vents, gets caught by a Molotov from Sixer, but he's the only one remaining. And Happy will fall to Alu. It's quite simple from this point. Map point for FaZe, and they must win every round to get to overtime on the Envy side.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what have you got left in the tank, Envyus? It's going to take 4 rounds in a row. In terms of their money left over, it's pistols once again, Matt. Here's the replay. Rain in a very defensive position. Gets that first kill through the smoke as well. It was actually perfect timing and great utility usage there from FaZe. Just as they could detect and sense the execution coming in, they actually isolate the T's who were waiting in the lobby just as their teammates coming in towards the main entrance, segregating them and meaning they can't really work together. Last round potentially here. 1 AK this time for Kenny S. 4 pistols going towards ramp. Aggressive though. It's Alan to open things up once again.
Kenny trying to find shots on the AK. A man down on death row for Team Envy. Have to win everything, and AZ's ready inside of the squeaky doorway. Rain again will watch out of position as he's done so well with that M4. Change of place is Alu on the AWP, and he's got MBK walking into him. Karrigan's got a crossfire. They grab another. It's Kenny to go down with only 1 kill. Happy versus 4. Happy's gone, and FaZe will make the playoffs. The French will have 0 representation in the top 8.
There was a comeback, a resurgence there from Envyus after losing both pistols. We thought it was done. They get 5 rounds in a row, though, on the terrorist side. But, Matt, you pointed out that full eco they lost against the 5-7s, pincering them in from ramp and upper. That was a defining moment and got FaZe back into this game. Great performances overall. Alu was fantastic. Rain was great. In the first half, Karrigan, top frag. Very, very good performance, and they will be going to the playoff. Unfortunately, we say goodbye to the Frenchman, but all things considered, a lot of strong rumors surrounding this lineup. It's very unlikely we'll see these 5 together ever again.
Yeah, think about that for a moment. Think about a year ago, just over a year ago, Cluj-Napoca, they were the champions. They have failed to make the playoffs in 3 straight majors. It could end there, as you say. But for FaZe Clan, the project is working. They bring Karrigan in, they get an in-game leader, and mission accomplished. They make the playoffs. It's all uphill from there. We'll take a break. We got one more big game coming up.
like Arby's, or a big E-League fan, you gotta try Arby's 13-hour smokehouse brisket sandwich. Hickory smoked beef brisket, topped with smoky Gouda cheese, piled with crispy onions, shot with something called a deagle, slathered with, I want to say that was some kind of sauce, and sandwiched between what is now basically bun dust. Arby's, we have the meats.
I am the fire. I started small, now I can't be contained. I will consume my opponents and cremate my defeats. I will rise from the ash, stronger, and become something more. Every moment I work, I play, I compete. I will give it my all until I am done. For I am the fire, and this is my fuel. G Fuel, the official energy drink of esports.
So, FaZe Clan have done it. They were able to beat Envyus. And before we break that game down for you, there's a disappointed Kenny S. But before we break that game down for you, we're going over to Sue, who's got a problem.
Actually, this time it seems to be the solution as you are moving on to the playoffs. And Kyo, this has to be special for you as this is your first major playoff since winning Kaluge over a year ago with the very team that you just beat. So what are the emotions going through your head right now?
The thing is, I waited that for a long time because I was cut just before MLG Columbus, and then we had Cologne, and that was like the hard group. So it's always satisfying to know that you go through. We had only hard matches, so it's like you're getting like really relief. Like you know you made it. We had like a really good training before, so we made it and we're proud of it.
Well, on this map on Nuke, FaZe looked very strong, but there were some moments that Envy made it feel close. So how was your team able to adjust in those moments?
I think sometimes we just overthink. So we are just like, oh, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do this. So we try to adapt before they actually do something. So we just, how can I say, mindfuck ourselves. So the thing is like, we just relax and play your game and see what happens. And that's actually, it worked when we tried to play our game.
Well, FaZe at this major has seemed very impressive so far. Even your losses have been very, very close. So going into the playoffs, how do you feel the team is going to do?
I think we can make some damage. I feel like now we're better in best of 3 than best of 1. I may be the only one thinking it, but yeah. And we had like a really good training. So we're just waiting to see what's going to happen.
All right, well, congratulations again. And with that, it is FaZe taking out the last French Open, moving on to the playoffs.
Thanks a lot, Sue. There's a soundbite for you guys.
I believe that is how he said it.
Oh, keep cheering, I love you, brother. All right, anyway, let's start talking about the game. You know, it could have been a lot closer. I mean, Kenny S definitely tried to do his level best. But in the end, FaZe just had a bit too much in the locker. What was the secret to their success, Jason?
I actually thought Kerrigan had a very good game. I mean, there were a lot of very close clutch rounds, but I just think FaZe played them very, very well. And I think when you look at it, when it comes down to it, we saw this earlier as well. Why are you letting this get towards Nuke? Because it just didn't seem like they had a great plan. We saw it with Mouse Sports, I believe it was, against Liquid to start the day after the third match. But I still don't think that they really had a great plan on this. I mean, despite some individual plays, there really wasn't a whole lot that you could kind of rely on from this Envyus team on Nuke.
Yeah, and you know, I think there was just a few deficiencies that the machine wasn't firing particularly on all cylinders. But again, you've talked about it a lot. Kenny S looking back to his best and just wasn't getting the support from his teammates around him. I mean, he didn't deserve to be on the losing side.
No, this was actually been when you consider, we all knew this major took place in kind of the shadow of the next French Shuffle, and we all kind of know at least the core of that is going to be Kenny S and Shox, almost certainly. that both of them today, it's the same story. They did their best. They played up to the star level, didn't get the kind of support they needed from their teammates. And in this particular instance, I think they've really made a mistake letting this map through. I mean, if they thought that they were the ones trapping FaZe and they were so confident, and I hate it when people think because they've got practice down that means that it's like some secret map that they're going to be really good at. Because I've seen FaZe play official games on Nuke a whole bunch of times, and they're good on this map. I mean, you saw in the first half that T-side was more than good enough to win in the modern Nuke.
Brilliant play from Alu as well, by the way. Just one more piece of evidence that he's actually starting to feel very, very comfortable in this team, starting to play very well.
The synergy between him and Carrigan, the way Carrigan's been able to utilize him has just been incredible. So obviously, that's the end of Envyus most likely. Just some thoughts about FaZe. How deep do we think they can go?
Well, I mean, the cool thing for me is that they actually have a fairly varied map pool, and it doesn't really seem like the map affects them as much as just the individual players. Like, they have a good T-side on all the maps as far as I've seen. They actually have a decent routine. They do fall apart sometimes in the mid-round, it feels like. That can be very touch and go. And again, I mean, this is just a recurring problem for them. It's not like they don't have a cold zero who just turns up every single game. I've seen games that they lost that Reinhardt was terrible. I've seen games where he's the best player on the team. So I think that's still very uncertain, but they've got a deep map pool. They've got a lot of skill. So I think it's more just who they're going to draw in the playoffs, because there's certainly some teams out there they could damage.
All right, then. Thanks very much. So we also need to recover from another great game. We're going to take a short commercial break. When we come back, we're going to have the final game of the day. Who's going to be the last team to go to the Fox Theatre? Will it be Australis? Will it be Team Liquid? Find out after the break.
If you, like Arby's, are a big E-League fan, you gotta try Arby's 13-hour smokehouse brisket sandwich. Hickory smoked beef brisket, topped with smoky Gouda cheese, piled with crispy onions, shot with something called a deagle, slathered with, I want to say that was some kind of sauce, and sandwiched between what is now basically bun dust. Arby's, we have the meats.
So we're about to get ready for the final game of the day, and you can see Team Liquid trying to fire themselves up for this. There was an argument to say they might not even be in it. Jason, tell us why.
I mean, this is a team that just hasn't looked like they were super prepared coming in. A lot of teams say that they just thought that this would be one of the teams that gets knocked out 0-3, but I mean, for the first couple games, certainly, Elige was really the only player that kind of showed up. I mean, everyone else, you know, either was playing far under the level or just rarely had impact, just kind of here and there. And on top of all that, they have a tendency and a historic you know, historically they are teams that just fall short, that just can't close out games. Now they've brought themselves back into this with a couple nice games, weaker opponents that they've played to be able to stay alive in this group stage, and now they just have the ultimate test. If they want to win this game, it is going to have to be a Liege going nuts. It's going to have to be someone like JDM or Pimp, and they're going to have to get out to an early start and hope and pray that Australis falls into the mental tendency of collapsing.
But that's what you missed out on, Jason. This is choke to choke.
I love
Team Liquid and Australis. So tell us about Australis and their problems, then.
Yeah, well, Australis is a very, very deep team. They've got a fantastic map pool. They've been in great form, except for that one map against Godsend. And that's the concern I have when they come up against Team Liquid, is that it's all well and good saying, oh, Australis can choke, oh, they can lose these amazing games like against SK, etc. Yeah, but you have to be the kind of team that can make them choke, and that's the key thing. Even Godsend, now they have JW, he can pull off shots that can tilt you. Flusher can do amazing things, you're always intimidated by him. It's not really the situation with Team Liquid. I mean, they don't have an in-game leader, really. They have someone, obviously, who takes that role, but not someone who's got a comprehensive control of the game. At the moment, in terms of sheer roster, it's hard to see that the guys from Team Liquid are going to be able to match up with. I mean, at the moment, in the SK game, Kirby barely even had to show up for most of that game, and Australis was still doing absolutely fine against the skilled players of SK. So I actually feel as though, in almost every area, Australis outstrips Team Liquid.
All right, well, we're ready for the veto, Duncan, so let's see what happens.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is, Team Liquid is going to have to be afraid of a whole bunch of maps here.
Yeah.
I mean, Australis is naturally going to ban out Cobblestone, you'd assume, as they usually do, even though actually Team Liquid has particularly been playing at the moment. They do a nuke ban as well, because they at least know that's like kind of a joker map for the Team Liquid guys. I want to see if someone bans out Cash at any point in time. Like, will Team Liquid just let it through at this point in time? Because Mirage is also one where Australis interestingly banned it against SK, so I think that would be a great map for the two of them, because in theory it's the original Team Liquid map. There's always been a variant of them that can play this map, but also Australis I think actually are reasonably comfortable in this map.
Jason, reactions?
Yeah, I'm a little worried. You know, that's not a map that I particularly think Liquid is going to be fantastic on. They have some of the tools, but it's not. I think this is just a good, strong Australis map in the end of things. I mean, that's where I think there's. I mean, like Duncan said, this is a team that's very, very deep. The players outstripe those of Team Liquid for the most part, and Mirage is just going to be a very tough map tactically without an endgame leader.
But again, you know, the pressure is on here. I mean, Australis have said that they prefer to be the underdog, you know, in interviews, and you're definitely not in this situation.
Well, Anders made a good point earlier today. He said Australis was one of the teams that thought that Liquid would go 0-3. So if they do get into a hole, there is like a little bit of that factor where Australis is probably thinking this is the best matchup we could have gotten.
So, ready for predictions, Duncan?
Yeah, I'm taking Australis for this.
Jason?
I am also going to take Australis in this.
Boo. All right, thanks a lot, gentlemen. We're going to throw you back over to Henry G and Sadakist.
Is Jason sick?
I don't know what's going on right now, but apparently he wants to be cream pied.
That's the first time, not only once, well, I think he always wants to be cream pie, to be honest, but that's the first time I've ever heard him not say Team Liquid.
Or just anyone who's not aware, if Australis do end up winning the major, Jason does take another cream pie to the face. That's the joke.
If Australis wins the major, if they don't, I think Andrews takes one.
It's true, but you're right. It's very strange for Jason to go away from Team Liquid, but...
I don't know what to think, just to quickly get to it. I don't know what to think about this, because Mirage Liquid can play, but Cash was in the pool. I think they had a reasonable veto, but of the two that were there, I think I would have preferred Cash from Liquid, whereas Mirage, I think Australis are happy with that.
Yeah, well, famously, this has been an Australis map for a long time. This is where Carrigan used to actually AWP for them. Everyone kind of try to avoid Australis in this one. We'll have a look what happens here. To be 3 sets of armor, the smoke's going towards that A-bomb side normally, landing on the steps and towards the jungle area. You're pushing in towards CT spawn and shutting down anyone in that area. There are 2 CTs waiting on the other side. There's the 2 smokes I mentioned. And here comes the play with the flashback.
Fast play toward A. 2 smokes. Like you say, to cover off one side of the map, but Kirby wants to let them go by. Silencer may not give away his position. How does Device get that second one? Backs into the smoke, and he will evoke pain. He's got 2. It's JDM that gets 1 in return. Nitro finds Glaive, but Kirby's done well in that position from reverse firebox. Nitro now 1 versus 3. Nitro, the latest arrival of anyone in this tournament from Team Liquid, has to be big in this game. So too does Liege. Imp needs to step up. Everyone has to. And Dupree takes down Nitro.
So I built it up perfectly, right? But for some reason, Liquid, instead of going CD spawn like every other team does, they push for the smoke. I think they're overthinking that. They're trying to be clever about it. Device waiting on the other side. He can't believe his luck. He should be shut out that round. He's waiting for rotations. 2 players come through at his crosshair, takes him down. And I can't say I necessarily agree with that one, because you're putting the smokes down for a reason. You're stopping that being a choke point for the CTs. They have to fall back. They can't push through those smoke because they're almost certainly dead. You're giving them targets. You're grey screening yourself and coming out on the other side. The idea is supposed to overwhelm. It's an unanticipated move, but it falls apart. And Australis, one of the heavy favourites to win the title here at the major, pick out the pistol here. Liquid 1-0. And it will be no force buy on the second here. So Nitro, he gets a Tech 9 and head armor, interesting enough, but his teammates don't join him in the same manner.
Bounce doesn't go quite far enough to do substantial damage, considering they're on no armor. It does take JDM down to 75, Elige 85, and they'll start to work out middle now with the clocks. Well, he does have his Deagle to try and do anything with. Surprisingly, Nitro, the head armor, bold call to go along with that Tech 9, and Nitro's got himself in a reasonable position. Xipix is patient, not showing as soon as, the wrong move is made, or if he just wants to get aggressive, he'll catch Nitro off, so they don't get the window control they were desiring. But there's the Deagle shot we talked about from Elige. Back, Kirby gets one, has to back away and get inside the site quickly, or stand ground. He'll do the latter, and he'll take down one plus an assist for Device.
Round from Australis, and he gave one frag away. Pimp now just with the Desert Eagle. He's towards B, bomb down. Not really much you can do here, and Dupree will finish him off there. And it's just Elige picking up one frag. They didn't necessarily force into the round. It was just Nitro, I believe, who got the Tech 9 head armor. Nice shot from Elige. He's been fantastic, to be fair, Matt. I think when we opened this up, he had 2 maps and 85 frags. Is that correct? It's around that ballpark.
Yeah, two might have even been 87.
But every game they've pretty much played has been overtime, to be fair. So it's difficult to it's still amazing, right? He's been playing lights out.
The sad part about this Liquid situation is they've lost 2 overtime games in a Swiss format, which means they're playing for elimination when they're of all the teams in the lower side of the bracket, we're the closest to being, undefeated. In regulation, they have been undefeated. Think about that.
Yeah. Well, here we go then. Tech 9, one smoke, a flashbang, probably smoke towards the bomb site itself, flash over, try and get the bomb down at all costs. Very unlikely it will go down, but there's a smoke on the site. And Device, there's no flashbangs actually stop this vision. Glave's gonna get a couple of kills here, but this has got interesting. 2 kills with the pistols. Okay, it's gonna be shut down, but still, all things considered, the bomb does not get planted, but finding 2 frags, it's something, damages the economy of the CTs. So, we have that interesting first round. The option for the CTs now, if you saved a FAMAS over there, you could maybe do something a little bit aggressive, push up towards middle, send a message out to Liquid, don't allow them to do their default to the start. The first gun round's always a little bit of a mind game. You want to try to kind of tilt your opponent and not let them get comfortable with a full default to start. We'll see what they do. Device, a very dynamic AWPer. He said in many reports recently that he has spreadsheets and he knows his opposition. He kind of has his own unique play style right now. Be interesting to see where he goes in that first round and where have they gone? Have they gone towards underpass? So yeah, this is what you want to do.
Both.
First gun round, get that first frag, just knock them off their comfortable areas.
Axis. Get them out of orbit. It's going to be an interesting push too because they don't find anything, but do they want to go further and try and wrap around or get back in toward middle, which they could actually do with relative ease because there's not much there other than Pimp. What it does mean is A, lightly fortified as a result of all of this, well and truly occupied now by the terrorist, and Elige flashing himself in. Molotov in the corner knows they're getting one behind the chimney, and he's going to pick up the shot at Dupree. Back away. Glave's got to be coming in through the connector. They're going to bypass each other. They both in, but they can't find it. Awkward, no less. As Kirby's there as well, will finally silence Elige, but 3 versus 3 post plant. Time ticking. 1 kit, only in the hands of Glaive. Do they go for this? Does Australis want to commit fully on the first gun round that might be lost? It seems they do. They'll be able to buy in the next, but if they fortify this and save, it means they got more money down the road. Hiko's going to take out Glaive, and Kirby finally realizes, okay, I've got an AWP. Probably best I hold on to this.
Oh, well, he won't be, but if he keeps missing shots like that, Nitro finds him, and you can hear Liquid coming to life now in the studio. It's Nitro opening things up, and he finishes them off as well. 2 kills for him in that round. Like I said, Australis trying to get something a little bit more dangerous at the start of the round, 2 towards underpass, so just trying to get that first pick, stop any sort of defaulters coming in, and just kind of thwart any plans that Liquid had in terms of set pieces as well, but didn't really work out that way. As soon as they were detected, Liquid struck towards that A side. Nitro finds the first kill of the single players on the A side towards Shadow. And at that stage, not really much they could do. They went for the retake there, but Liquid coming out on top quite convincingly. And it's actually going to be an eco now for Australis. It's going to take Deagles, 5-7s, and a little bit more aggression towards middle. Liquid want to make sure they do everything they can, and they're doing it right now to just be defensive. Don't give anything away. Hold back, see what kind of buy you're up against. Use this and treat it like a gun round. You want to be throwing the smokes to the key areas. If you're going towards B, smokes towards short, kitchen, Molotov towards the van. You want to just be walking in and potentially finding a stack. You want to be flushing these CTs out.
Bomb in the hands of Hiko is slowly getting over toward where the rest of his team is at B. Elise and JDM have Horseshoe. Pimp and Nitro starting to take over the underpass area, as well as Pimp just going to hold on to that B apartments, but it's Glaive that's pushed up, 5-7 in hand. Without any money, which I thought they were going to have more of. They try and get aggressive to get that kill, they will not, and that puts him in a different position because he can't get aggressive. Smart read from Nitro, knowing there's a smoke on the backside of Connector. Doesn't overextend onto Zipix, he's able to drop down. Find an additional kill, which puts them into a 5 versus 3. Dupree, 48 HP left over on a Deagle. He's going to try and work his way into the B site and pick up a kill. I say back into the B site because he comes down catwalk. If he can get one here, he slows them down, but I doubt he's going to shut down what is now all 5 players coming in toward the apartments. So for the first headshot, misses on Hiko, just goes over top of him. Relocates, does get it that time. Hiko's dropped the bomb. Elijah's still lined up. He's missed too many, though. They've snuck in behind, and that should do it. Device, he'll find at least one. Okay, hold on. Nearly gets another because Nitro was just to the left of the crosshair, but the Deagles, as always from Australis, leave our breath slow.
Yeah, the Danish Deagles certainly are a very, very scary thing to behold. Okay, then. Well, I thought Device was going to find that third shot as well. He was lined up for it, ready to go. That got a little bit interesting here. Dupree, known as one of the best Deagle players, I'd say, in the world. And Device, don't normally see these kind of clips of him with the Deagle, but that was very, very impressive. I thought that one was coming in as well. That would have been so sick, and he probably would have won the round as well. But anyway, it's going to be Australis now with a nice full buy. They had the lead. They could have forced into the last round, but they thought better of it. We've got the lead. Let's take a partial buy. Let's not get into that economical sort of rut. Got to hold on to the rifles here, and here we go. One defuse kit, Device AWP, and this is quite a slow default. Will be an A split, as you can see them setting up for Liquid. 2 players on the ramp with the bomb, decent grenade, and then some. Almost 100 damage inflicted. Oh, in fact, yeah, it was.
Yeah, it is exactly 100 damage inflicted. Elise will get Zipix back in return, though, but Device, he holds true with the AWP, drops down Elise right after, and that puts Nitro alone coming out from underpass. He's got Pimp slipping up inside of middle, but he doesn't have vision of window. So he can't necessarily help his compadre to get back out and in position. A quick flash off onto Kirby, though, will give up Connector. And they're going to bring that bomb back over. Knowing Nitro's stuck inside of underpass, Pimp can't do much to get him toward A. They don't have enough information. Forget A altogether. Nitro's already inside B apartments, guys. That leaves us with 4. Let's go. And that's going to mean Kirby's actually got to read for a rotation. They're spread very thin. And it's only Dupree inside of the site. This is big pressure onto him. Position himself to watch just from near bench. In fact, he's just going to get there now that Kirby's covering window for cross. He'll go back to the M4, sees a nade thrown, he wants to get closer. Doesn't have enough to play the long-range game. It's Dupree, smart play from behind bench, not covered off from utility, but tagged up through the wall. Kirby's there, still finds another, and it's JDM. AWP versus 4. It's one less than he can kill Henry. He's proved that already this weekend.
With Zipex goes down first, he famously
through the
wall. Right. He famously plays that B side solo sometimes, so they've got that frag. They're trying to head in there together. But Dupree and Kiabi doing a great job there. You can see Kiabi's mentality. He's not even trying to challenge that first frag, just to know JDM goes down as well with the AWP. He's not even challenging for the first frag. He's getting information for his teammate who's at the bench position. He calls, right, they're coming in. I'm going to reposition myself. I'll take the aggro away. Once I start shooting, you start facing from the bench area. You can see, look how discombobulated Liquid look at that point. They're not sure who to look at, who to shoot at, and they get shut down. Big round from Australis. Device chimes in with that AWP as well. As we go into an eco situation for Team Liquid. Certainly is a CT-sided map, but Liquid probably want to be aiming for around 6 or 7 rounds here to give themselves a decent chance.
And JDM leaves himself, doesn't bother to get the armor, which he could have done because he wants to stay with 4,300 so he can have the next round. Good read by Dupree. Stare at the nade as it comes in. If you're looking at a nade in CS, it does less damage. You almost want to look away from flashes, stare at HEs when they're close. He does that, but then nearly nades himself. He's going to get Nitro. That'll hold off the push. I think it's getting very awkward for Dupree. 3 players inside of Checker. Bomb gets thrown down. Pimp doesn't quite throw it correctly. That's going to buy a little bit more time as Elise just catches it. But what it does is leave Pimp up in the apartments for the post plant. It's just a pistol, but in his position, it's planted so that if he doesn't need to peek, if it comes down to a situation where defuse is required in a split second, he can try and peek them off. Nice try from JDM. Hiko capitalizes. Glaive looking the wrong direction. Remember, Dupree's low. He should go first and try and get information. That's what he's trying to do. They know where Hiko is. They can't land the wall shots onto him, and Kirby's able to wrap back around. Hiko's still in this. Fortunately, Pimp has to go inside of the site and drops down, and that leaves just Hiko remaining. They know where he is. Another defuse coming in. Australis going to go 5-2, but expect an AWP on JDM immediately.
Of course. That's actually quite a nice round overall. It's Liquid, Glocks, PT-50s. Manages some good damage at the start. They only really bought some HE grenades.
That's a big round differential. Both these guys are 2-2, meaning they've played 4 games. And Liquid's played, I didn't see, I think it was 143 and 144, so what is that? 33 more rounds? That's pretty impressive.
Well, there you go. It definitely has been a rough ride for Liquid, but they're starting to arrive at this point. Another gun round coming in. Like you said, the JDM Orb hasn't really struck as of yet. We're waiting for that to start delivering here. Certainly can be a huge factor. Let's remember this event, the 1v5 that happened. As soon as that starts to get formed again, maybe we can see some more fireworks from that young man as he goes towards the Palace area here.
It's actually 29 more rounds. I was wrong in the math. I'm sorry, Henry.
It's okay.
Please forgive me. JDM's going to look toward jungle. No smoke out. He wants this AWP to find an opening. There's a few spots you can definitely play with the T-side at op. Fast toward a ramp, catch a person crossing to connector. Here to open up toward jungle. Be apartment if you get lucky if someone's jumping toward van, but most commonly in middle. But it's more of a pick-style AWP I find on Mirage than it is an aggressive taking and post-plant op. Debris, he'll take down Elige.
Yeah, pretty interesting round. There's no one to back up Elige there with the refrag. Someone should be facing for the connector as soon as he starts taking bullets, but Pimp's a little bit late. But there it is. It's going to be Hiko towards the A ramp, and the bomb will be going back towards spawn as well. So we have got one player in the form of Pimp to get in, but...
This could be interesting, though, because JDM's been watching and saw no one at jungle the whole time. There's 2 stacked in shadow. And he's with an AWP in Palace. If they have to push through, if they come in from A main, he's going to have a lot of pressure applied. And he's starting to look for it now. He's starting to get an inkling as to why he's not seeing anyone. They're both down below. He's not going to spot them yet. Hiko's bringing bomb in now. Nitro, he's with them. Actually, Nitro's the one to carry the bomb at this point. So, missed shot JDM. 2 players in shadow, not checked. No Molotov thrown in. They're waiting for the opportunity. Spray through. Hiko wants to bait them out. That's smart. They found one, but will they wait for the other? Zipix, oh, holds his trigger, but can't find the aim. And Hiko's able to pull it back, but he's down a man, 1 versus 2. Bomb dropped 8 seconds. He's just grabbed that. He's got to commit, and Kirby should be able to pop out, take it down before he even gets the plant in.
Lovely stuff there. With those 2 players in shadow as well, you just never assume there's going to be 2 in there. So it's actually quite nice. Yes, they're quite exposure. They're almost happy one player dies there at that opening encounter. As soon as he goes down, they're going to be calling, yep, player in shadow's down. You're not going to assume 2's there. Hiko runs straight past him. The time's ticking down as well. He's got to plant the bomb. He goes down. Bit of a nightmare situation. There's 2 versus 1. Has to go for the plant. And at that stage, it's easy pickings for Kirby at that stage. So 6-2. And now another eco, I believe, for Liquid. So at this point, I don't think they can actually even justify a force. But what kind of stage loss bonus are we at? Number 3. So they're going to get $2,900 into the next round. Tactical timeout. Zeus, of course. I guess you could say he's like the father figure of this team. They're known to be quite an emotional kind of young team, right? They've had some success at the majors. They made grand finals, semi-finals, but that was when they had Simple with them. This time they have Pimp. Not as much firepower, but certainly a good addition, I would say.
Well, teardown's already begun in the studio. The previous 2 desks used are freed of monitors. That's because we're in the last game of the group stages. Tomorrow's Media Day, we start in the Fox Theater on Friday. Playoffs, best of 3s the whole way through. Finals on Sunday, you won't want to miss it.
It's going to be very exciting. This qualifier, this group stage has been amazing so far. Like, the games have been really exciting. Lots of overtimes, lots of upsets. It's been really cool. Now, Australis, they were my kind of favourite team to win this major, to be fair. And right now, they're looking at elimination, but they're in a good position to proceed. It's going to be 6-2, a couple of kills coming in. Hiko does do some good work there with the Desert Eagle. 4-on-3, but Zipex aggressive towards short, looking to retrieve the frag from him.
Kirby's rotated back around as well from connector inside a window. Quick tap from him to get a kill at top mid. He'll spot up Hiko as well. You mentioned he's done damage. Plus the only kill in this round. Tries to do so again with the Deagle. Problems for Liquid though, because you're getting late in the half, this being round 9. You've got 2 rounds and money has never stabilized, mostly in part because the 2 rounds you picked up were in between the first 3 rounds and the last 3 rounds that Australis have got. Point I'm making, they've never maximized the lost round bonus, and they're not getting a lot of bomb plants.
Indeed. That's 3 in a row now. So Money will be in a relatively decent position. Like we said there, the JDM Orb hasn't really come out yet. We're waiting for it to kind of start lighting up the scoreboard, find those opening picks. Certainly a possibility on Mirage, but Yeah, to really arrive. It's a 4-on-3 now, but a heavy advantage, of course, for Australis. They've got the weaponry, a boost up towards the window. Kelby, though, waiting for it. Nice defensive position from him. He might time this incorrectly. Yeah, just unfortunate there, but Nitro makes it through towards jungle.
Let's give them some access to a site. Kirby doesn't bother sticking around to try and find that opportunity. He'll rotate, knows Glaive's inside the site. Get a plant. We just mentioned they haven't got them. Well, now they do. And if they don't win this round, which they could still do with Nitro picking up an M4, it's going to be 4 rounds plus bomb. They'll definitely be able to buy immediately after Nitro goes down. His gun gone. Dupree, he'll find Pimp. Hiko. I don't think you'll be kidding us this time because Deagle on he's going to get pushed out. That's fine, Kirby. That's one. Never mind. He's got Dupree. They're on the defuse. They're going to have to line up and beat shield. They can't get the reload in time. Nearly hit the diffuser, Hiko. Maybe you were telling a fib.
That would have been an absolute nightmare for Australis. 2 lovely shots there from Hiko. And I thought he was going to hit the diffuser as well, but he only had 1 HP. That's the only problem there. It's pretty much impossible at that point. They're both looking at you. You've got a FaZe. He does a great job to even make it that close. So nice work from Hiko. Damages the money further. And we go into the next round. 7-2. Money in a decent position after getting the bomb down there. Orcs back out for JDM. And we can see Dupree on the Orb this time. That's a straight one. Has he got a 6 board or something? He's going towards B. It's very rare to see him with it all.
It's not a... His spawn wasn't great. Zipix is ahead of him. Device is already in mid.
They've got something planned here. What is this?
Nitro gets caught inside a smoke. Good response from Elige.
Are you ever going to do a booster? I haven't seen that boost before. I was just looking over the bomb site towards the B apartments, but still. 4-on-4, I should say.
Yeah, this is like, even when they had the 3-op team for a while, you never really did see Cajun B Kerrigan and Device. You never saw Dupree on it. So this is a bit different. Elige has made it to bench. It's a good position if you can get there undetected because you can hold off from jungle, but they don't have information towards CT, so he's got to push and find it. And Zipix is waiting for him, so down he goes. It's on to JDM. Spots a flash coming from above, dodges it, and takes out Glaive. That'll start to secure for a plant. They're trying to get above the smoke, though. They may still get the planter down, but Hiko just barely gets it in time. Stays with 55 in a 3 versus 3 post plant. And Pimp's caught off Dupree on the rotation. Op's gone. They didn't plant for through connector either way, so it's not like he had a lineup in the post plant. Device getting Hiko. This means the rotation also has to come back in from Pimp, who finally does spot Device, switching to that AWP. Remember, he couldn't see bombs, so if he didn't hit that shot, he's removed. And it all goes to JWM, who's trying to get above the smoke. Spotted by Zipix. This could still be a problem, because Pimp's just getting in position toward connector now, but JDM smartly will back away, and they'll pick up their 3rd round.
Interesting one from Australis. You got one of the world's best all players in your team, and you give it over to Dupree. You can see what they're going for there. Some sort of boost towards the B side. They jumped on the bench, and I'm assuming this means you can look into the apartments. I haven't actually seen that one before, but Australis there give away their 3rd rounds, and I'm having a look at the money right now. I said, oh, a double orb situation for Team Liquid.
Pimp carried that over. That's
that could be detrimental, you know. I'm not a big fan of double orbs and T sides in most maps, especially on Mirage. You need the players to be able to play clutch situations, play at tight angles. Could work out for them. Pimp certainly a capable AWPer. He's been a main AWPer in previous lineups such as Dignitas before, but never really set the world on fire with his weapon. We'll see what happens as we go to round number 11. Team Liquid looking to get back into this game. It's currently 7-3.
JDM's holding a tight angle in case anyone wants to push up, and Device will be Molotov'd out from connector. So his angle to watch mid-control gone. Interestingly, I was going to say that. We're seeing a lot more. You've seen it. We've all seen it. There's a default smokes from spawn that you could place in window that used to be very common, sort of mid-2015, early 2016 even. Oh, Pimp. X-Ray always loves to tease us. That you would throw, and it negated Oppers going to window. Now we're seeing the cat smoke, Oppers playing connector, and a late smoke. So it actually, just based on how common that smoke was, has really stifled CTs at trying to get an early control of mid. Elige has catwalk too, so this could be good if he can find the pick, especially if he just gets in ladder and controls mid situation.
That's to be a very slow round in this double orb setup though. Device looking towards short. I think he just missed the player getting up there, but maybe got a bit of information. JDM is going to be looking towards that ticket-proof position. Device though rotating towards B. They've made it quite an all-in call here. You can see at the top left right now, 4 players heading towards the B side of the map. There's just one, and that's Glaive who's just got a UMP on towards A. And there is a terrorist in the connector as well. This could fall apart from Australis, this gamble.
Pimp's going to set Molotov likely toward Van if he can get that far. Molotov from Zipix coming out from bench to slow them down. Might suggest Dupree's not in that position. Oh, but the close Molotov. He's got to go. He's got to find a pick. Does. On to Pimp. He's still alive. He'll burn in place trying to find the 2nd kill, but it's bought some time and space for his teammates to rotate as Glaive and Device will do the work. JDM versus 3. not to be. He'll go down 8-3. Liquid, they're going to be tight position on money. Again, they get reset.
On to 3.
Do you force at this point 12 rounds?
Let's have a look.
Well, I'm going to call it timeout and think about it, that's for sure.
They've got 1 stage loss bonus. I don't think you... one player on 5k. I would say no, because you have 2 pistols, 1 SMG, 1 AK. That's why they're taking the board. It's certainly... There's both options are viable. I would say no. Take it to the next round and actually get a full buy. But yeah, Dupree, the man on fire at that point. Man, he gets Molotov'd out. He just takes it, sits in the fire, and watches Liquid burn in front of him and go down with him as well. He gets 1 kill, does a ton of damage. And that 4-man stack towards B actually works out very nicely indeed. There's 1 player in towards connector for Liquid. That was Nitro. Glaive finds him, funnels the rest of the T's towards their B-bomb site. And actually looks very promising now for Australis. So it looks like they will not be forcing into this round. Nothing purchased as of yet for Liquid. So Australis will take this to 9-3, almost certainly. But we'll see what happens. We get the bomb down. That's a nice addition.
One very clear statistic for Liquid's T sides. If you want to know how they're playing, if you're watching just even the scoreboard, if Nitro and Elige, if both of them aren't getting frags, they're not getting entries. Heat go top frags right now. So they're just not finding opportunities to get to the sites.
Well, and this sort of map as well, you had JDM to be in the slow-paced play to find opening frags as well, but the Fox have made it in. They're going to find a kill as well, and potentially a plant. Device looking to take it down, which he does. Threat eliminated.
Big, because they want to get a plant for extra money. They won't get that. That was the whole point of the round. Yeah. 1 over, 1 under on Shadow, and they can't close it out.
So JDM could drop an AK, but that would limit his ore potential. He might have to go glass cannon. Potentially he's got 7 grand right now. Maybe no head armor. We'll see what he decides to do.
The extra $800 on Nitro, he's $36.50. Exactly. That's the difference between an AK and that $50 is the difference between AK and head armor or just AK and chest armor.
So that's exactly what I'm saying. So they've gone for 5 AKs here. So that's really big they didn't get the bomb down there. Elige on the SMG, no JDM AWP. He is not known to be as proficient as some of the other top AWPers with rifles. He's known to be a very, very good AWPer, but when it's forced to go into the rifles, not as electric as players like Device who opens things up.
Display by Device. Fall down in the shadow and get a support system in place from his teammate Glaive, and Zipix over toward jungle. Device hits 2. This is a mirror image of Snacks in New York. Hits 1 palace, drop down, catches 2 on entry with a collat. I've seen that before. And you know what happened? The team that did it went on to win the map. It's Nitro that's going to back away. Actually, I take that back. They actually lost that map. It was Na'Vi, but Device is up to... Okay. Just close it out. You've already got 4 kills. No need to be config. A little bit safer this time, but Device with a massive round.
That was so sick. He gets one in apartments, being dynamic, and he comes back, they just line up for him, and then he just gets an AK. He's hungry for more. Like I said, Device, he's a hybrid. He can rifle and AWP as well. He wants more positional control, and he gets the AK out to give him that kind of advantage, pushes through, gets another kill. 10-3, another eco for Liquid, and it's deciding to crumble at this point. We said it's a CD-sided map, but you want to get at least 5 rounds of the T side.
At least.
Has to be now. A Deagle Glock combo. We'll see where this short rush works out. Kiabi should be able to mow them down here. One-way smoke for him. Device opens things up.
So back up inside a connector as well. Elige only 1 kill, and that's done. Let's move on. We'll hit round 15 and a potential to go 12-3 for Australis. Remember, if Liquid doesn't get through Optic, they didn't. Cloud9, they didn't qualify. NA, for the first time at a major, the first time in the last 3 majors, I mean to say, won't have a team in the playoffs. And not only that, it'll be the first time in North America they don't have a team in the playoffs at a major.
Crazy. There's
only been 1, let's be fair, but it's still a big factor for the fans.
Well, here we go then. The top performing player so far, it's got to be Device. Of course, 134 ADR. Kiabi not far behind on 118, but Device, he's had a great tournament so far. He's been fantastic for this team throughout 2016. And here we go.
Catches Glaive, that's a good start. He gets aggressive and then gets isolated by a Molotov that holds him in play as Elige. Tries to set himself up to watch inside of the site. JDM, watch anyone's coming back up from connector. Pretty straightforward with all 4 of the players on A coming in from 1 approach. Chico's gonna watch rotations at mid. And Kierby's holding station because he wants more information before he can position up. And Zipix that has to find it, but smoked off. Finally, an execution though with that nade. It's actually the damage from the headshot. I thought the nade was going to bounce back 42 HP. If it hadn't landed on his feet, it would have been enough. Instead, the bullet finds him, and Dupree's got Elige. Elige wraps around. Dupree's got 2 with the op. JDM, he's got to clutch it, and he can't do it. They pull the round back at 12 for Australis at half. This is looking convincing thus far.
24 frags for Device. That we said 20 was godlike before in a previous game. 24 is pretty much unheard of. That's so sick from him. What a half he's had. Australis with a dominating lead so far, 12-3. And I'm very, very excited for the prospect of Australis now. You can see they're looking confident to go to the playoffs here. It's going to take some crazy performance from Liquid. And this was the headshot, right? Yeah, there it is.
So he actually, the X-ray from seeing it the other perspective made it look like he was planning default back basically where JDM is, and if it bounces off the wall, it would have almost hit him perfect, but he was a little further. So the bullet did the damage. Big change in the round, though, because that bomb goes down. Elige doesn't have to get aggressive at connector. They don't have to peek, and they can control the situation. 143 ADR is ridiculous.
So, Hiko, was he top fragging for his team as well? Yeah. He gets 9 frags total, 60 ADR. No one's turning up. This is the problem with Liquid. They lack that real in-game leader. They've got Zeus behind them. He can only talk in the breaks though, Matt. He's coming in. He's got a lot of experience, but he's stifled until the breaks come in. And these guys, unless the superstars really up performing, Elige, like we said, he got 85 kills in the first 2 maps. So far, he has 6. He hasn't arrived. And the stars for Australis certainly have. Device Kiabi are going to have 44 frags between them. And we have got a little bit of a technical issue here. Glaive has dropped out of server, so that's why he's got his headset off. But yeah, this is looking promising. Liquid, it goes without saying, this point map, they do definitely need this pistol, or it is pretty much GG.
Well, we got a cool stat too. We've been focusing heavily on ADR. It's a very important statistic because it's a contribution to your team, obviously, even if you're not getting the kills. There's been a lot of high ADR performances throughout the course of the major. Elige is in there, oddly enough, not this game. But yeah, this is very, very impressive. 123 from Flamey. This is their average, by the way. So even for Elige with that bad game, he's still at 101.8. That's very impressive. 122.3 for Flamey over his 3 games. Adren 103 was massive today, getting them in. And Cold Zero obviously is always there.
Well, here we go then. The standings, the teams have already made it through. Anyone with 3 on the left-hand side has already made it to the playoff. That's Navi, Virtus Pro, SK Gaming, Fnatic, Gambit. And is that correct? Because Envyus have not got 3 wins.
That is incorrect. Envyus are actually out. So swap that around. It's FaZe Clan that's actually in there. It has been a long day. So FaZe Clan's actually in there, 3-2. Envyus 2-3. But all the rest is right. And maybe that's preemptive that they have Australis on the bottom of that column. Are they expecting something? 12-3.5.
We'll see.
What do we know about 12-3.5 from
I thought I was getting late. I thought, am I about to say something really stupid? And I was like, no, definitely not. We just cast that game. But anyway.
Wouldn't put it past you, though.
No, I would not. It's a bit of a long one. But 12-3. Slight technical issue here. I think it was Glaive's PC just headset issue potentially, but we'll get straight back into this action. If you are just joining us, it's the final game of the day. We're deciding our final team for the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Team, and Liquid will either go home or Australis will go through.
Just while we got a second and we're waiting for them to fix this up, there is an official newsletter now for E-League. Just go to eleague.com and sign up for it. Pretty cool that they have that. It'll cover all the regular season stuff, as well as the major. And as we just saw before, we head to the Fox on Friday, and we're, like you just said, waiting for our last team to be decided. It could be Australis, meaning both Danish teams could make it through. North going down 0-2. They rallied back. So Australis have to return serve, you'd have to think, with the rivalry between those 2 teams.
I'm really glad North made it. Like, they deserve to be in the playoff. They've proven themselves to be worthy of a top team this year. It would have been such a shame to see them not make it. But that's a good test for them, right? A lot of inexperienced players, that's like baptism by fire, right? Go down 0-2 and still make the playoffs. That's like, just shows they are a proper team here. It's not a lucky kind of coincidence. They want a team, like an event like Epicenter. They are ready to actually play at these sort of events. Whether Liquid are with this lineup, yet to be seen. It's going to take an absolute monstrous performance.
Stare from Elige, wasn't it?
Well, he hasn't performed this game, right? He's known to be affected. If his performance starts going downhill, he can just drop off and just be completely disconnected from the game. 6 for 15. He died every single round in the first half. Didn't really have any impact at all. JDM, we talk about him having great performances earlier on in this tournament as well. 1v5s, for example, against Envyus, but not so much here. He's only got 6 frags himself. So if they don't win this pistol, that'll be 13-3. Have to force into the second, and could be the GG moment right there. Zeus now going to rally the troops and work out what's going to be the best approach. Remember their pistol, though. I feel like they were overthinking things overall. This is the correct graphic now, Matt. Anyone with 3 in the left-hand side column, they've gone through to the finals already. You can see Australis tentatively waiting at the side, and we'll see what happens here, because obviously it's between Liquid and Australis, looking very likely to be the Danes at the moment, though.
And Gambit again making it in.
It's
People
crazy.
said they were like the odd shot of the oddball of the teams that made it through from the previous major. Well, He just proved it twice, and Zeus has to be smiling ear to ear, joining that team.
When he left Navi, is like one of his last tweets is that team. He says, "I'm not quitting until I win a major." And he comes back with this team, which was
They're
like
gonna do it, I believe.
kind of a weird mishmash of players. You thought, okay, well, yeah, Gambit have the legendary spot. He's got time now to work with them. He's made playoffs straight away. They've already won tournaments before as well, so this is actually looking kind of interesting. They're certainly the dark horses, I would say. No one probably did that much homework on them before they came here, and now everyone's probably really kind of sitting up and paying attention to what Gambit are doing. I've heard we've got a slight issue over there. Might be a couple more minutes, but
I'm sure we'll get it resolved.
in terms of the upsets, Matt, the teams that have gone home, I guess we can point out those as well. Envyus, G2, the French representation, that's obviously quite an interesting one. There's a very heavy rumour coming in with a kind of reshuffle coming in of those two teams. That'll be interesting for the next major. The last line I used when we finished the Envyus game, probably the last time we're ever going to see those 5 players together ever again.
I think that's absolutely true, and it's a lot of fans, a lot of French fans, and Shocks fans, Kenny S fans, NBK fans. They're going to be watching very curiously to see what happens, but so too are Australis and Liquid fans right now, because we start half number 2. Australis win this pistol, and it might be the end of the road for Liquid. They haven't covered off middle either, and that's where Device, Kirby, and Glaive have all gone. Glaive and Zipix, by the way, without armor, so they've gone for the utility to smoke off Catwalk. That'll hold out Nitro, but coming into the site, it's Dupree instead, and it's all headshots. Kirby and Glaive add into it. Hiko 1 versus 5. He has a kit. Might help because the bomb's planted, but I doubt he's going to get that far. Shot down from behind. Device wraps in as he continued to push through CT, and that's going to make it 13-3.
Dupree strikes with such elegance there from the apartments, just actually nailing them with the Glock as well. Nails the first one on the bomb side. The one in the CT spawn is even more impressive. That player in shadow at that stage with a nice sort of setup in the CTs, he just had no chance. Has to be a timeout now. Zeus, you need to pull a rabbit out of the hat, because I'm not really sure what the call is here. You just force behind the CTs, you get 5-7s and armor up against potentially, I'm going to say, a more rifle-centric buy from Australis. They've got 2 AKs right now, 3 UMPs. Quite a safe buy. They'll slow things right down. They know this round means everything. They can pick this one up. Game should be over. So the force buy will come in from Liquid. You can see Zeus now, very passionate man, giving them a speed try now to try and rally the troops and try to get them back into this game. It looks like they will be forcing, of course. So PD50 from Pimp. 5-7s are coming out as well. So
armor where available, with the exception of JDM, so perhaps optimistic that they'll win this round, then he'll have an AWP soon. There it is. Okay, he's gone for the 5-7 and I was gonna say.
All in.
Are you really gonna think that's gonna be the case? Because you're up against AKs and UMPs, which can still do decent damage against the armor. But that might be something to read into it. If the UMPs can't find decent shots and the pistols get headshots in return.
Here we go then. All roads lead here for Liquid. If they can pull something out of the hat here with pistols across the board, a couple of flashbangs, no kits, it would take an absolute blunder from Australis, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. The first frag comes in, but Hiko does strike back.
They're going to try and push onto this in mid though, but they don't account for Device as well on the 8Ks inside of that position. And Glaive, good damage done on Hiko. That allows Dupree to walk back around and take him. JDM versus 4. It's going to go to 14-3 in Liquid. All the eggs in one basket for this round.
Yeah,
that's very little. Australis are looking great to move through to the playoffs.
They have a pause remaining. I'm not so sure if you have used it now.
I think they've got 1 remaining. I'm not 100%.
To be fair, what do you even say at this point? You've got no money left. You've got 2K in the bank, and you're 1 round away from match point. I think they just have to full eco and try and string 12 together. That's the only option. If you force again, it's pretty much the exact same thing's going to happen. And you can see Australis are aware, don't need to change really anything at all, didn't really drop anyone. So 3 UMPs, a couple of AKs, and here we go then, 3 P250s. It's going to be almost certain match point for Australis here. Had a rough start to this major group stage, but coming in emphatically to the final game of it.
Nitro's going to wait Palace. Have pushed up. Yeah, that's the interesting thing about their positions. They pushed up to Palace and they had it covered off, but they go through connector instead, which means they're still very far removed from where the rifles will be, and the pistols trying to do that much damage from that range becomes a bit of an issue. Glaive, Molotov over toward the firebox. They're actually getting tagged up, and they can't quite spot it right away as Dupree finally will take down JDM. Nitro follows in the hands of Device, and it's just Hiko and Pimp remaining. And what is about to be match point for Australis. It seems anticlimactic with how convincing it is, but that's just how impressive Australis have been in this game.
If you think about that, like we said, we kind of discussed this. We thought Australis were going to be the favourites for this major. I think it's exciting to see them, like...
Rebound?
Yeah, this is the Australis we wanted to see come with this major. And wreck people with Glaive at the helm. Device being one of the best players in the world. This is the Australis we want to see. If Liquid can't perform in this kind of games, they don't deserve to make the playoffs. No one's arriving for them whatsoever. They look weak, uninspired. No one's really talking. This is potentially the final round. They have to go all in here. And right now, the way they've performed in this best of one, they don't deserve to go further. Let's see if they can string 12 rounds together. Very, very unlikely, but not impossible. Pharmacids, M4s, no kits, little utility.
Round 19, 29 kills for Vice. Continues to be impressive. See if he can end with 30 kills in 19 rounds. Or do we have a 20th round? Maybe a 21st, 22nd, 23rd.
30th.
It's possible, but it's not likely the way things have gone. Dupree's in the site. Got the Molotov down on Shadow. Means he has to jump up on the Cinders. That leaves him with no movement. Elise the only kill in return. He's going to fall now to Glaive. And just like that, it's Hiko versus 4. And I think it's Liquid out the door because their run of good luck and good fate in majors is over, and their legendary spot, it's been stolen away. Australis, they'll get theirs back. They'll complete our top 8 teams for the Fox Theater.
That's the Australis we all know and love. Device look amazing as well. Kiabi not far behind, but Liquid, it's a sad finish to their run here. Had some good games, certainly been up and down, but a little bit disappointing way to finish it off here. We've had some fantastic games, lots of overtimes in this group stage so far. But I guess at this point, the best team did win this one. No one really showing off Liquid whatsoever. I can't really think of a notable point in the game where they looked impressive.
The sad part for Liquid as well is we always knew they were going to be on the cusp for the playoffs. It would take a lot to make it. That's the first regulation loss they've had. 2 overtime losses.
It's a shame.
Saying that, they were very slow on cash until the 1v5 from JDM, but they're gone. No North America in the playoffs. 2 Danish teams. Australis make it through. It's the group stage done. The studio gone. We move to the Fox Theater. We'll recap it all before we get there in just a minute with Richard Lewis.
If you, like Arby's, are a big E-League fan, you gotta try Arby's 13-hour smokehouse brisket sandwich. Hickory smoked beef brisket, topped with smoky Gouda cheese, piled with crispy onions, shot with something called a deagle, slathered with, I want to say that was some kind of sauce, and sandwiched between what is now basically bun dust. Arby's, we have the meats.
So Australis are going to be the last team that go to the Fox Theater. Comfortable win for them against Team Liquid. To learn more about it, the in-game leader Glaive is over there with Sue.
Glaive, you joined this team 3 months ago, and since then, 3 straight top 4s, a title, and now legend status at the major. That is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it's amazing for us. Like, we are really happy. This is one of the best things that has happened for the team. Even though we just have won the last event we were at, we knew this would be a really hard task for us. So we have been preparing so much for this tournament, and we are just really happy that we made it.
Well, throughout this group stage, you played the maximum number of games to move on in the playoffs. What are the biggest things the team has learned through all those wins and losses?
I think it's just to keep steady. Don't get too angry when you lose, because there's so many games and you have to keep being focused all the time. I think we have been really good at that. Our sports psychologists have been helping us a lot, and she's here with us as well today. So it was really nice, and I think the team is in a good shape right now.
Well, all of that is going to be very, very useful, as the next match is bound to be very hard. It's going to be either VP or Navi. So what are your thoughts there?
I'm not quite sure. I think we would. I don't know who we want to play, but both are amazing teams, and of course we believe we can beat them both, because we have proven that we are a really strong team, especially in the last 2 events we have been playing. So I hope that we can beat them.
Well, it's bound to be a great game either way. Congratulations again, Glaive, and I'm very sorry, Moses, but there won't be an NA legend this time.
All right, he'll get over it. He's used to it by now, Sue. Congratulations to Glaive. All right, then, where to begin? I suppose we should start by talking about Device. I had a bit of a good game here. I mean, Team Liquid just couldn't put up any resistance whatsoever.
No, and this is, I mean, he's been like this whole event. I mean, it's very, very obvious that Device has come into this event perhaps more focused, more prepared individually than we've ever seen him before, and obviously feeling very comfortable within the team framework. And yeah, this is, I mean, when you go through it, we said there was a lot of disparity in terms of skill on these teams and how deep it goes on Australis. None of the things that Liquid needed to do happened. I mean, Elige didn't have. This was probably. I mean, in fair play, he had a ridiculously good tournament, but this is probably the most pedestrian we'd seen him. They didn't get out to any kind of quick lead or anything like that. They didn't put any pressure on Australis early, and there was no one really of the other guys that you would expect to step up. None of them did it. JDM wasn't really there. Hiko was their top performer, but Device really just put him in their place early, and then you added Care B to that mix, and then there's just no competition.
Yeah, Duncan. I mean, what was going on? Because that's poor by sort of even Team Liquid standards, if you know what I mean. They haven't had a great major, but they just brought nothing to this game. I mean, this is the worst we've seen.
Well, one of the problems is that Team Liquid, I mean, the joke is, oh, they always get up to 14, 15 rounds, then they choke away, etc. Yeah, unfortunately, they're a front-running team. And in this game, one of the things, actually, following up, the older Australis core used to be amazing at this. They were the best front-runners, you know. If they get on you early, this is why they never used to lose to North American teams. They just destroy you, you know. And at that point in time, their entire confidence was decimated. Plus, I didn't feel like this was the right map for the guys to come to it. Like, I realize it's a randomizer, you know. It's tough to pick and ban against Australis. They have one of the widest map pools, but if they had any confidence at all about halfway into that game, you could never believe that you were going to win this one, you know.
Yeah, so obviously, let's talk a bit about Australis and, you know, what we think they're going to do moving forward. Like, does anyone want to revise this whole they're the favourites for the major?
No, here's the thing. The way this Swiss system played out, because you got to play 5 whole games, I think this is actually better for Australis, perhaps, than if they'd have just had, like, a VP-type performance where they tough, but you get through, or an RV where they just blitzed everyone and they thought this is too easy. Because if you look at the way it's gone, they've had the really big upset that shows them, like, you know, you can't take anyone for granted. They've had the close games that have shown them that if you play against a team like an SK, etc., doesn't matter that they have a stand-in, you know, you're going to have to play sound Counter-Strike to be able to beat them. They've got big performers. And at the very end of it all is when they finally had their Na'Vi-type performance where they've just blown someone away completely. And it looks like they're heading into the playoffs kind of with lessons learned and finally at peak perform after, you know, many days of play.
So, Jason, final thoughts? I know you must be sad.
Yeah. Crushed. No, I mean, I'm just of the mind that going into this tournament, I didn't really have Australis as a favorite. This tournament doesn't feel like there was a favorite coming into it, considering we had the long break, considering we had so many question marks about so many teams. Certainly one of the teams that, you know, of like 3 teams that you would say have the best chance of winning it. But I think they still have one more way to be tested in this tournament because Device has been so good. What happens if he has an off game? What happens if that does happen? Is there going to be someone there that's able to pick up enough slack? Because we've seen him be the creator, the kind of anchor for this team throughout all their matches this tournament.
Yeah, and that's been the stumbling block in the past. Can he sustain this when it matters? It's going to be very interesting to see that story development. Thank you for your thoughts about the games. Commiseration to Team Liquid and Team Liquid fans. And obviously congratulations to Australis. And just to remind you, you can go to faceit.com and get involved in some community nights which are dedicated to this E-League major and the CSGO community at large. You can prove your skill to win pins. Know you love your pins, and official team jerseys signed by the players. So just go to faceit.com and get involved with that. It's the end of the day. It's appropriate to take a look at the standings, just in case you've missed anything. Been an amazing day of Counter-Strike, and you're going to see some familiar names up at the top. Na'Vi, Virtus Pro, they did it flawlessly. Na'Vi more so than Virtus Pro. Then SK Gaming, Fnatic, Gambit join them. You can see Australis, North, FaZe Clan, they're going to be there too. And then unfortunately the have-nots, some worse than others. Disappointing for Optic, Godsend, Envyus, G2. These are the guys that thought they could get there, but didn't. So just some final thoughts from each of you.
Yeah, I actually, this actually feels like, to me, the best group stage we've had in a major in a long time. We had an incredible game, so whether they made it or not, congratulations and thanks to all the teams who've competed here.
Yeah, Duncan.
This is why it's funny. The same thing played out in the qualifier. Okay, when teams like Envyus went 0-2, when G2 had their problems, it went to the end. Everyone was like, "Oh, I just write them off." See, overhyped, you know. Meanwhile, good teams didn't make it through. Cloud9, etc., that were expected. Well, one of the storylines I feel like people have missed here is okay. So at the end, all the teams that snuck through were the big teams that had failed. Okay, it was Australis, it was North, it was FaZe. You know, teams that everyone had as locks for the playoffs. Meanwhile, Optic, a team that no one conceived of that they wouldn't make the playoffs, wouldn't make a deep run. They're the ones in the end who actually failed. And so I think what we're learning about the Swiss system is it's very different from the group stage play, because the key thing about the group stage play that we used to have before is you always know it's that best of three at the end. So if you really are the favorite, you don't really feel that much pressure as long as you get to that game. You feel like we're going to win that one anyway. In this scenario here, you have to be poised. Like it feels like almost every game if you're those teams, except like the Na'Vis of the world, because every game can be tough, and it doesn't matter how far you get. That last one's the killer if you don't get it.
Yeah, and that's why there's so many great games to look forward to. With that in mind, make sure you tune in on Friday to Sunday. We are going to be at the Fox Theatre, and it's a hell of a venue. We've got all sorts of amazing stuff planned. We definitely want you to join us. And that's going to be 10 a.m. Eastern, live from the Fox Theatre on Twitch. And, of course, the finals are going to be on TBS. And make sure you go to eleague.com to keep up with our schedule, look at the matchups and additional features. Writing from me and Thorin. Moses doesn't write anything.
Yeah, well, you're doing the newsletter, so obviously a big promotion for you.
Yeah, you can do the newsletter. You can handle it. Anyway, thanks to everybody for tuning in today. It's been an amazing day at Counter-Strike. Thanks to all the teams that made it amazing. Thanks to all of the crew. Obviously, thanks to the desk. Can't wait to see you at the Fox Theatre. We're going to have our day off tomorrow. It's well earned. Make sure you tune in on the weekend. Until then, take care.